Hello, my name is Alan. My pronouns are he, him. And today I'm facilitating a one-shot of Hit the Nazi, Retrieve the Ark. This is my relatively light hack of Hit the Streets, Defend the Block by the Gauntlet's own Rich Rogers, in which the kind of street-level superhero vibe of the original is replaced by pulp heroes in 1935. This game is being run as part of the Gauntlet Community Open Gaming weekend that we are currently in, this being September the 23rd, 2022. These are 3-4 monthly, typically, weekends in which the Gauntlet gaming community, of which more in a moment, puts on a range of sessions to do a couple of things. One, to encourage people to try playing games online. And the other one really to introduce people to what we think is a pretty solid culture in terms of our table culture and the way we play games. If you don't know about the Gauntlet, then please search Gauntlet-RPG, and Gauntlet, I am told the problem is to spell Gauntlet. It is G-A-U. Rather than the other way around. So Gauntlet-RPG, find out a bit more about us. If you like what you see, then come and join games that we run. Typically, we run 100 or so sessions every month, all neatly timetabled, and they are open to anybody who is interested. Though, if you were interested in getting priority access to those games, then we have a Patreon that supports all the Gauntlet's activities, which range from the game calendar through a range of podcasts to a publishing arm. And again, you can find out more about that if you search Gauntlet-RPG. So this game, right? So the concept of this game is that it's about pulp heroes stopping nefarious agents of the Third Reich in their tracks. It's 1935. Prohibition in the US ended a couple of years ago. But meanwhile, Hitler has consolidated his grip on Germany, and as part of his intention to create a 1,000-year Reich, he has dispatched agents to all corners of the world in search of artifacts to harness the arcane, while he also funds all kinds of weird science. His aim, to give the Nazi Party power over the fate of the world, and only our heroes stand in his way. In terms of the aim, we'll begin in media res, in the shining beacon of the free world that is New Gauntlet City, where unknowing dupes of the Nazis are perpetually up to no good. Strangely, every time I run this game, there are more unknowing dupes doing more no good stuff. We'll discover exactly who's doing what to whom and why in play as we collaborate to agree what's amiss and play to find out how our pulp heroes can thwart whatever evil fascist scheme they uncover. Now, the original Hit the Streets, Defend the Block has a what I think is a unique neighborhood building process. We don't do that in this game. Instead, we will run this as a series, probably this evening, 2 or 3 pulp episodes. And we will be together collaborating to work out where those episodes take place and who we're going to encounter in each of those episodes. And we've already done some of that prep for our first episode. In terms of tone and subject matter, while we have Nazis and the occult in play, the tone of the game is distinctly 15+. The obvious media touchstones being the Indiana Jones franchise, or lots of 1930s pulp serials. It isn't intended that we explore anything overly gruesome or any adult themes in this session, but we'll make sure we have a shared understanding of the kind of play we're aiming for by using a set of safety tools. We'll be playing using the Gauntlet Community Code of Conduct, which I generally summarize as be respectful to everyone else around the table. If I'm feeling slightly more tongue-in-cheek, I summarize it as don't be a dick. Now, all of the players with me tonight have played lots with the Gauntlet, so they know the ground rules, and so that's not going to come up. We'll be playing, though, with a specific set of layered safety tools, so we're going to use lines and veils. For those of you that are unfamiliar, a line is something that simply we will draw a line, and that will not crop up in the narrative. And I just draw the player's attention to the Lines and Veils tab in the Character Keeper. You will find there my starting lines, which are sexual assault and violence, cannibalism as a positive, torture by the player characters, danger in death or endangerment of children, betrayal between player characters, or even violent conflict between player characters. All of those are lines, along with racism and Nazi ideals. And one of the players, when we were doing the prep, made the point, well, what do I mean by that? This is not a game in which we are going to explore Nazism. We are going to take Nazism as a no-brainer, as bad juju, bad stuff. The Nazis in this game exist to be punched. Veils, meanwhile, are areas of narrative that may well appear, but we will draw a discrete veil across them. And my starting veils for that are domestic violence, torture by NPCs. It may go on, but it will go on in a tent that we can't see, or we will see the setup and then a curtain will be drawn across. Animal abuse will veil. Consensual sex making out, because I'm old and British, that has to be a veil, because we will certainly draw a veil over that. Suicide and peril to pregnant women and infants. I thought I'd put a line through that. I'm sorry, I want a line, peril to pregnant women and infants. I put that up there with death and endangerment of children. So we'll line that. So what I would ask the players to do is to look at that tab, and if you want to turn a veil into a line, or you want to add some veils, please do. There's another column there called Ask First, which, put something in that, and I will, all of us will then endeavor to just check in exactly what we're suggesting. And if there's something that you genuinely want to see in this session, then there's a column for interested. So if there's something you definitely want, bung it in there. So that's Lines and Veils. We're also going to play with the X card, because Lines and Veils can cover a lot of ground, but sometimes something will come out of left field that we didn't think was going to be an issue, but makes one of us feel uncomfortable. That's when you play the X card. And the easiest way to play the X card for me is to kind of show me the X, because my attention tends to be on the pictures I have on my screen rather than the chat. If you're uncomfortable with that, then put it in the chat. And I just ask the other players, if you notice that X card has been put in the chat and I don't appear to have responded, please draw my attention to it. Now, I'm not interested in what's caused any player to play the X card. The only thing I need to know is, which bit of the narrative do you want me to kind of go back before and play forward to avoid, so that I miss it out. And I will stress, folks, sometimes something comes up and we think that's fine, that's okay, that's not a problem, and then it comes up again, you think, oh god, I wish I'd X-carded it. Just because you didn't X-card it the first time doesn't mean you can't X-card it later on in the game, right? So if it comes up and you feel uncomfortable, the X card is there. Similarly, I've had people play the X card for all kinds of things. The example I usually give is I named an NPC. I can't even remember what I called him, but it turned out that name was also the name of someone a player knew. I had that character begin to do some, odd, difficult, dangerous, uncomfortable things, maybe. And they said, I'm really uncomfortable having a picture in my mind of my friend when you're saying, David did so-and-so. That perfectly easy to change a name. Yeah, that's a perfectly legitimate use of the X card. So anything that makes you uncomfortable, please play the X card. The other useful function of the X card is if you think that we are sailing too close to a line or being a bit too explicit about a veil, then playing the X card can just pause the narrative while we just clarify exactly where this is going. So the X card can be used preemptively to kind of just check in. This looks like we might be heading towards that line. I just want to check in we're not going to get there. Perfectly legitimate use of the X card, okay? And finally, there is the open door. And now the open door, two things. One, behind us as we're playing these games in the real world, stuff may go on. Doorbells rings, fire alarm goes, God forbid. But if something goes on in the real world, go deal with it, right? Don't feel chained to the game. If something happens in the real world, go deal with it. We hope you come back. But sometimes people find themselves in a game and they thought it was going to be a game that dealt with A, B, and C, and yet in play they're not having a good time. Please, 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 the open door is there to use. If you're not having a good time, you don't have to stay, right? No offense will be taken. This is all about us having fun. If you're not having fun, the open door is there to go and do something more fun. Okay. So with, I hope, that kind of reassurance in place, I'll just check in on lines and veils. I'm not seeing anything obvious being added, but I would ask the players just do have a look at that, and I will check in before we start play proper. So let's come to the most important part of this, which is I'm going to ask the players to introduce themselves and tell us something about the character they're going to be playing, this pulp hero. And I'm going to start over there on the right-hand side and go right to left, just because I'm kind of, feeling frisky. So right to left, which means Jim, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Hildy Russell.
Hello, I am Jim Crocker. I generally use he, him pronouns, but if you're using they, them more generically, that's totally fine with me too. I run and play a whole lot of games in the Gauntlet. I've played with everybody here. I've played with Alan a bunch. I really enjoy playing in his stuff. And so I was really happy that he offered this for, I don't think I've played this particular iteration of your game. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. If you're interested in what I'm doing on the Gauntlet and elsewhere on the internet, I've been a retailer of role-playing games for many years. I sell them at conventions, and I used to own a game store and stuff like that. But you can find me all over the place as Jim Likes Games, just like it sounds. That's my YouTube channel where I put up actual plays like this one and other games that I'm running. I'll be running a couple of Gauntlet Open Gaming Weekend games. We used to call it Gauntlet Con, coming up in the next few days here, but I'm really happy to be here. I have gone with the principle of if you're in a game, you should never play Cary Grant when you can play Rosalind Russell. So I have created my reporter character, Hildy Russell, in homage to the great His Girl Friday. And that's probably what I just straight up took an image of her in a hot shit purple suit with that great hat. And so I'm the friend, which means my specialty is heart, getting along with people and being able to empathize with them and maybe get them to, spill their guts to me and stuff like that. So I'm specializing in heart and jaw. So I will be, fast talking and whatever little bit of screwball comedy, screwball rom-com I can inject into this, I will be doing my utmost to try and do that. So, and my, should I say my catchphrase now, or should we wait to reveal it during the game?
I think it's cooler if you wait to reveal it in play.
I will wait to reveal it in play. Spoiler, you'll know it when it happens. All right. So
yeah, it helps me to know what they are, simply because then I can try to pitch a situation where it might be appropriate. So, but yeah, let's keep that to yourself.
Yeah, and Hildy uses she, her. She's a Mount Holyoke graduate, educated and erudite young woman who was afflicted with the contagion of curiosity, according to her father, when she went off to college. Instead of finding a husband like she was supposed to, she found the ink-stained wretches. So
that's great. Thank you. Let me go next to Mari. Mari, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Lana Morgan.
Hi, I'm Mari. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm playing Lana Morgan. She's a wealthy heiress, but she finds that kind of boring, and so she seeks out more interesting things. And her archetype is hustler, and her awesome, whatever it's called, is socialite. And so she's good with people, and she's also observant and has high head stats, perception, and all that.
That's great, thank you. Heir to the Morgan millions. And I still am curious about whether Hildy and Lana went to school together. That may emerge. Moving on, Sabine, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Craig Carter.
Hi, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns. I have been with the Gauntlet for a while now. I've played with all of these people. I've played, I think, most with Alan, mostly because our time zones align a lot. I've played a lot with Jim as well, but I've played with the other two as well. I will be playing Craig Carter. Craig Carter is a farm boy from Wisconsin who he's not entirely clear on what the process was. Actually, suddenly he was in a car and was supposed to drive it, so he did. And then was in a plane, he was supposed to fly it, so he did. And then they said, you got to shoot down these other planes, and so he did. And he survived. And then the war thing was over, and he was working on cars and stuff. But he would like to fly again. But there's no war happening, so maybe that's actually a good thing. That's not that there isn't a war happening, but he misses flying.
There is a war. It's just a secret war.
That doesn't make sense.
Thank you for that. Moving along then to our final player and character. Rod, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Maria Maganda Echeverria. Excuse me if I pronounced that in any way inappropriately.
That's fine. I'm Rod, he, him. I've been playing with the Gauntlet for just a little over a year, and this is actually Hit the Nazi was the first game I played the very first time a year ago. So this is my first game, and so it's fun coming back full circle. I'll be playing Maria Maganda Echeverria, Professor Maria Maganda Echeverria, who is Mary Mag to everyone who knows her well. She's actually an archetype is the Bruiser, and I think that came about because she was the only girl out of I'll say 7 siblings. All of them were brothers, and so she became rough and tumble and has taken to that naturally. I think, but as far as her academic side, professorial side, she loves myths just because they take her out of the real world into something that's on a grander scale and just wondrous. And I think she made that her field of study. She does love traveling to places of myth, like, you know, ancient Greece and seeing the ruins and all that. I don't know what else do I. And she uses a yo-yo as a weapon, I think, is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure when the yo-yo arrives but I think that probably it's not when they expect.
Right.
So that's great. Okay, so those are our characters. And we've also done a bit of work on the initial setup. So all of these sessions of Hit the Nazi, Retrieve the Ark begin in that beacon of democracy, New Gauntlet City, which is you know, a metropolis not unlike other metropolises in comic fiction. And in fact, that's an excellent picture of it behind there. Other cities have copied many of those buildings, but they are only really found in one place, all of them together, and that is New Gauntlet City. And we have decided that we are going to begin this. And I now cannot remember which order I put this in. Did I start with Jim? Tell us about a place in this location you want to be part of the narrative. Was that you?
No, I think you insisted on starting with Sabine because you hadn't started with her yet.
I did. Sabine, tell us about a place in this location you want to be part of the narrative.
Yeah, the place that will be part of this narrative is a construction site. It's almost finished. It's a skyscraper, but there's still some building stuff going on, and you can still hear drills and noises and people running around, not knowing what to do, put where, and what belongs where, and where their room is, and why there are plants all over the place. Okay, I'm not all right now. I realize I'm channeling our new office building, and I will shut up. It's not a skyscraper though.
Okay, therefore, Mari, I think I must have asked you to tell us about someone you want to be part of the narrative at this location.
Yes, and I said the wealthy owner of the skyscraper.
I like that. And then I must have asked you, Jim, to tell us about someone else you want to be part of the narrative at this location.
Yes, Melissa Mel McGillicuddy, Miss Gauntlet City, 1935.
Love it. And finally, I asked you to add any other detail you wanted, Rod, to this episode. So what have you added?
Also present here is Mayor Barry, who has reputed mob relations and has a financial investment in the success of the skyscraper.
Okay.
Can we give him a different last name?
Absolutely.
Because I immediately associate him with an actual American Mayor
Sure.
Barry, who's an actual historical figure.
Sure. Mayor Martin, is that acceptable?
Oh, we're all the M's today. Mayor Martin meets Melissa McGillicuddy. I will be asking people to say that very quickly at some point in the proceedings. So that is the setup. Now, I am conscious that in character generation and episode setup and introductions, we are now at nearly 5 to the hour. So I'm going to suggest, because it'll give me 5 minutes to think about what happens next, that we take our first break at this point. I aim to put a break in about every hour. So I'm going to suggest we take a break now and reconvene on the hour. And we'll start in media res at that point. So you might want to give some thought to where are you relative to the setup that you have outlined and I will detail. Okay, I will pause the recording. See you on the hour. There we go. Okay, Hildy Russell is off screen at the moment, but I want to describe what I'm seeing here. So yeah, I'm seeing a half-finished skyscraper. So some of the floors seem more or less complete. Other floors, walls are missing. There's just girders. And on the 100th floor, in the open air, is where the ribbon cutting is taking place. And the ribbon cutting, that's why the mayor is there, because this is an important new building for New Gauntlet City. As always, whenever people see the mayor, he's always surrounded by some rather large fellows with very big shoulders, and people speculate about exactly who they are. They don't appear to have any official role in city government, but they're always about when the mayor is filmed or photographed. And the ribbon cutting is, the mayor is there, and he is announcing that Melissa McGillicuddy, Miss Gauntlet City 1935, will be about to cut the ribbon. Let me ask Lana Morgan. Lana, why are you here this morning?
I think she's here because perhaps a friend of hers, the daughter of the owner, invited her.
You're a socialite. Why wouldn't you be here with all these other people? It's slightly incongruous because though it is the middle of the morning, everyone who's been invited is wearing either evening dress or they're in penguin suits. No, I don't mean that literally, but they're in dinner suits with smart bow ties. Professor, why are you here?
Oh, I think she is obsessed with Miss Gauntlet City, and she heard she's making an appearance, and I think the professor kind of just unless someone tries to stop her, she'll just the door is open, I'm just looking. She'll play dumb if necessary, but she knows that Miss Gauntlet City is going to be here, and she wants to be there for that.
So have you been invited, or have you just turned up?
Yeah, I think she just turned up. I mean, she's probably not the best dressed, kind of a little sloppy, not necessarily a bad dress, but she's a bit, a bit wrinkled and so yeah.
And finally, Craig, what has brought you here this morning?
I think I'm someone's driver. I'm either Lana's driver, if Mari is thinks that is a good idea, or I'm the mayor's driver.
Lana?
Yeah.
Happy for that?
Works.
It works for me if there's that connection between you. So
Okay.
so does that mean that you're in a chauffeur's uniform, Craig?
Am I?
Are you in a chauffeur's uniform then, or are you informally dressed? I just want to get a picture.
I would want that would for Miss Morgan to decide, right? If I should wear a uniform.
Fair enough.
I mean,
Lana,
she-
what do you think? Does your father insist on staff being uniformed?
I think so.
Yep.
And runs to a peak cap?
yes, I like that. Craig actually likes uniforms, so he's very happy to wear that.
And so what I'm seeing then is Lana closer to the action in terms of the ribbon cutting, probably in that kind of row of the glamorous and the glorious of New Gauntlet City, who are acting as a backdrop for the news cameras that are rolling in front, that are recording this for posterity. The only person that we haven't located yet is the building's owner. Now, is the building's owner not yet on screen because there's something mysterious about them? I'm just curious. What do we think, Craig?
Yeah, I mean, obviously something is mysterious about him. Like, who is he?
Hildy,
Jesus.
you have arrived just at the right moment, because what we have set up is the ribbon cutting for on the 100th floor of this new skyscraper. Some of it is complete, but the 100th floor is still just an open floor with girders. And probably somewhere above you, we'll be able to see that guy who is just behind you working on the final kind of pinnacle of this structure.
Oh, the great big radio antenna that's going up at the top of it.
Quite possibly. Either that or an anchor point for an airship. I don't know. But one of those two things is almost certainly going to happen. And
why not both?
Why not both? And Lana and her chauffeur, Craig, are here by invitation. The mayor is the master of ceremonies. He is accompanied by some thick-set individuals, as he so often is. And he's master of ceremonies. Miss McGillicuddy is here to cut the ribbon. And Professor Marimag stands out in as much as she's on the fringe of the action. All the socialites, the glorious and the glamorous, are behind the mayor and Miss McGillicuddy, in view of the cine camera that's running in the foreground to record this for posterity. But Marimag looks slightly out of place, kind of hovering. Hildy, I'm guessing you were here to cover the story, but you tell me. Why are you?
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely here to cover the story. I mean, and you know, I arrived late, and like one of the vans that they like throw the newspapers out of the back of, you know, that goes by the newsstands, pulls up with Hildy standing on the running board, you know, holding on to the side. And you know, it screeches to a stop. I thump twice on the panel to thank the guy that dropped me off. Hop down, and I'm walking out, and I'm flipping open my notebook as I do.
And running for the elevator.
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cut to Hildy as we now get a picture of this building. You know, some of it's complete, and we see the elevator disappear into these several floors that are complete, and then emerge on the other side into one of these incomplete floors. and finally arriving at the top, just in time for the announcement that the mayor makes, which is, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so pleased to be here today and to bring Miss New Gauntlet City 1935, Miss McGillicuddy, would you please do the honors? And Melissa steps up, and big set of kind of ceremonial scissors as she approaches the ribbon. Craig, that's when you hear the sound of the aeroplane.
I'm
What do
looking
you
up.
do?
I'm looking at the aeroplane coming. I like looking at aeroplanes. Aeroplanes are fun.
Well, let's engage with a mechanic then, just to
I
demonstrate.
would also tell one of the bodybuilding broad-shouldered guys that I used to fly a plane like that back then. Yeah.
So you automatically get 2 dice,
Mhm.
because any action gives you 2d6.
Mhm.
I'm not yet seeing you do anything daredevil-y, so I'm not going to give you that one. But
I'm
you
not
are
just jumping up into the plane just because that's not.
there may be time for that later.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But you are an air race and driver, so that
Mhm.
gives you another 2 dice.
Okay.
And I think this is about what conclusions do you draw about the aeroplane as you look at it. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think that's head, so that gives you a 5th dice.
Mhm.
So you're going to be
Okay.
rolling 5 dice.
Brief question. It's okay. There's a 1 beneath the Daredevil. What does that mean? Just in the line between it?
Sorry, if you were being daredevilish, that would give you another
Okay.
dice.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I've got 5 dice. That's not a lot.
And I'm thinking that I don't think the difficulty here is atrocious. I think the difficulty here is 3.
3. Okay.
So
Okay.
what you need to do is you need to roll 5 dice,
Mhm.
and 3 of them have to come up as a 4, 5, or 6.
Okay. I'll have to figure out how to put. I think there is a way.
If you type into the bottom, 5d6. Sorry, we're right at the top there. Enter a die count. 5d6 in there will roll you 5d6.
Okay. I think I'll just do that. Come here, my lovelies. There you go. Wow. Okay. These are pretty good dice.
They are.
That's 4 successes. If I'm
4
not
successes
mistaken.
against 3 means winner.
Mhm.
There are no ones. Ones,
No.
when you roll a die, is called an oof, and that costs you spark. So there are no oofs in this one. Instead, you have 4 pows compared to the 3 you needed.
One question.
Yes.
Because I remember from the rules that I know, and I'm just that the oofs only count if there's tension involved.
Tension is always involved.
Tension is always involved because it's a pulp game. Okay, I see it.
This is you're defending democracy from the Nazi threat. Of course, tension is always in place.
Okay.
Duh.
Yes, thank you. I did not. Yes, it's a good point. But
It seems obvious when you think about it.
Yes, you're right. You are right.
So success. What I can tell you about this plane is that it is heading directly for the building.
Oh, that is bad.
And it has a pair of machine guns mounted on the front.
Okay.
The biplane is coming towards you. It has machine guns. I will come back to you in a moment. Yeah? Professor. Snip goes the ribbon. And there is applause, polite applause from Lana and the others who were standing there observing this. Now, everyone's saying, well done, Miss Gauntlet City. Is there an opportunity here for you to kind of approach Miss McGillicuddy?
Yeah, certainly if no one's stopping me. I think I was the loudest clapper of them all. And I will sidle next to her. Is anyone talking now, like the mayor or anyone?
No, speeches were done beforehand. Hildy missed the speeches, the who's in, who do we have to thank for this building? All of that's kind of not going to be on the front page tonight. So she's standing there looking, like Miss New Gauntlet City.
It's kind of thing where she turns around and suddenly I'm there.
Oh, hello.
Uh, you were magnificent.
Now, what are you hoping is going to happen here, Prof?
I'm hoping God, and that we become friends.
Okay. Okay. So,
Yeah.
so what I'm imagining here is that you're going to get to roll 2 dice
Okay.
simply because you're taking action. I'm not seeing your Bruiser coming to the fore here, nor am I seeing your academic credentials coming to the fore here.
Now.
I am seeing jaw, the statistics jaw coming into play here,
Right.
because that's to do with the fluency of your speechification. So I'm looking at 3 dice. In terms of difficulty, I think, again, I fear this is a difficulty of 3. So all 3 of these dice are going to have to score 4, 5, or 6 for to be anything but polite. You can increase this by spending spark. Every spark you spend will get you another dice. Would you like to spend some spark?
Yeah, I think she's gonna spend. I think this is important to her, so I'm gonna spend 2.
Okay, so 5 dice. I'm looking for 3 successes, and a success is a 4, 5, or 6. And of course, 1s, we'll worry about that in a moment.
All right. I got 1, 2, 3.
2 6s and a 5, that counts. If only 6s were worth more. Rich, if you're out there watching, why wasn't a 6 more important? So she responds very, how do you do? My name's Melissa. I'm Miss Gauntlet City.
I know. I'm a great fan of yours. I watched the pageant. It was easy. As soon as I saw you, I knew you were gonna win.
Oh, well, that's very flattering. Who are you?
Oh, I'm a Professor Maria Echeverria, but you can call me Mary Mag. I'm at the college, the university downtown.
Oh, you're at the university?
Yes,
Gee.
yes. Oh, do you like universities?
I've never been.
No,
Are
I
they
can't
fun
believe it.
places?
Yeah, if you'd like, I'd be happy to give you a tour sometime.
Is there dancing?
She freezes at that.
And at that freeze, let's cut to Hildy. Hildy, you can see Miss Gauntlet City in conversation with Mary Mag. You're well connected. You probably recognize the professor from other stories. You also notice the guy in the peak cap, one of the chauffeurs, who's not paying any attention to the activity that's going on at the ceremony or with anybody else who's there. Instead, they're staring out into the skies. What do you want to do, Hildy?
Oh man, I think I'll saunter up to that guy then. And I'll say, quite a view, wouldn't you say? The mayor seems to have some of the finer. The mayor seems to have found a blue plate special on thick necks this week, but the view in this direction is much better. I got to agree.
If you excuse me, ma'am, I have to do a thing, and I'll grab. I think I'll grab. There is probably some kind of pillar or something where they have flowers on it, and I'll just grab it, and then I'll try to launch it at the plane because I mean, and I'm turning like a discus thrower, right? So to get a bit of velocity to this thing.
As you're doing that, like Hildy does not stop talking, even though you turn away from her to grab this thing. She's like, well, if you keep calling me ma'am, then we're going to have a disagreement about this. And, that's what are you going to do? I didn't really like the flowers either, but as you
now,
launch
Craig,
it. Yeah.
Craig, I think it's coming level at you. you will have much better chance of reaching it if you can get above it
Mhm.
and throw it out and down.
Okay.
Because right now, if you launch that, it's likely to go
Yeah.
and
Okay.
hit some poor sap on the pavement
Oh,
100 floors below.
Oh, that would be bad for the poor sap. I don't think that far though. But getting the high ground seems like a fine idea. I'll look at Hildy and say, well, ma'am, I'm sorry, I'm busy. I'll talk to you in a minute. I need to get on this construction thingy here, and I'll just run up to the. I think there's still some ladders or some scaffolding, right? So I can get up there, and I give.
As you run towards the ladder, now I know what you're going to do. I'm going to cut to Lana. Lana, you notice your chauffeur Craig running up a ladder to the the incomplete floors above. What do you do, Lana? He seemed to have been talking to that woman in the purple hat over there. It's Hildy Russell, the well-known reporter.
Yeah. We absolutely know each other. I think that's for sure.
I will head over to Russell with my glass of champagne and try to find out what upset Craig.
Hildy?
Lana, hello. He one of yours?
He certainly is.
Huh. I should have gone to Barnard, I say, kind of rubbing my chin. As I watch his backside as he climbs the ladder. I say, he seems pretty agitated about something. What? Any idea what the bee in his bonnet is?
No, I was hoping you knew since you were talking to him. You seemed fine before.
At which point
he called me ma'am, so I don't know about that.
At which point the buzz of the plane engine becomes obvious to all of you.
Oh, that's a bit close.
And the airport's that away, I say, like pointing in the other direction.
And that's when the first machine gun fire begins to pepper the floor. Daka, 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 it goes. Craig, let's see how you're doing to get some height on this thing. Now, this strikes me as certainly very Daredevil-y, because what you've spotted is that above this floor, in this kind of the pinnacle of this structure, there are a number of girders still protruding out over the width of the building to allow stuff to be up and down.
Cool.
If you could get out on the end of one of those, this would be so much easier. Yeah,
I will do that. And when they start firing, I will yell down, take cover.
And so I think I want to see how this goes. You are certainly being Daredevil-y, so you get that Daredevil dice. You get another 2 for just taking action. This is definitely to do with your agility, which is feet. So you get another 3 for that. So you're rolling 6 dice so far.
I think it's 8.
Tell me why it's 8.
No, it's not 8. I'm sorry, because I can't math. So I get 1 for the Daredevil. Okay, I just get 1. Okay, so 6. Okay, that's not a lot.
And what exactly are you throwing?
I'm throwing this pillar where they had the flowers on. I think it's made of, I don't know what the material is. It's a light material, right? That it's not real stone. It's meant to look like stone, but it's not really.
A wooden frame with some plaster around the outside is what I'm thinking.
Something like that. Yes, but it's not light either. So if it hits the plane, that will cause trouble, especially if it hit it in the right spot.
Okay. So, but this it strikes me. This is quite a difficult thing.
Yeah.
Because you're doing this, albeit now you've got some height and some distance out, and it's coming in. It's gonna come in under because what's obvious is that it's strafing the building and it's going to pull away. And at the point where it pulls away, I think, is where your best opportunity sits.
Okay. Yeah.
I still think this is, I mean, the examples, I love the examples in the original rules. Difficulty 4, knock a flower pot off the 8th floor windowsill without breaking the window.
Okay.
I think that's probably where we're at here,
So
if
it's
not 5. So I think I'm going to go with 4 difficulty because I'm a kind person. So you're rolling 6 dice. You're looking for 4 pows.
so I will spend 2 spark.
Okay, to get that 8 dice to get 4 pows.
8 dice, yes. Okay. So there I go. Oh, let me roll these so I don't need to click that. I need to click that. 1, 2, 3. Damn it. And one.
Oh
one.
no!
Oh no.
And an oof.
Yeah, that did not go too well.
So it's going to cost you a spark. Tell me why it costs you a spark. Is this just profound embarrassment that you blew it?
No, I'm not that embarrassed. I mean, this was a hard thing I was doing, right? I think I get shot.
Oh, right. Yeah, ping, 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 and
Yeah.
bits of
Oh
what
no, the plaster thing I'm carrying gets shot, and it gets shot in my hands, and that's why I A, fail, and B, where I take a bit of kind of damage.
As the plane kind of moves away, the machine gun fire sweeps up the building, and it is fragments of plaster that pepper you. I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Hildy, you're a woman who's always on the spot. You're really in the spot now. What are you going to do?
Well, I'm gonna like take 2 steps and dive on Lana, and like throw the 2 of us down behind a wheelbarrow full of concrete, so that we are safe from the bullets.
Okay, let's see how that goes, shall we? So this is definitely being friendly. This is helping people out. So you get 1 dice for that, 2 for taking action.
Okay.
You get another 3 for engaging with the heart stat. I'm not seeing this as necessarily routine for an ace reporter.
No,
you know, even people on the kind of city beat. So I'm looking at 6 dice. Given the amount of lead that's impacting from these 2 machine guns, I think this is probably a difficulty of 4.
Okay, I will spend 2 of my spark here
to get 8 dice.
To put me down to 9 to do 8 dice. Yeah.
8 dice, 4 successes.
Oh, is this doesn't have a thing where I can.
What are you trying to do?
Like I was trying to highlight several dice at once, but you can't really do that in this. Okay, got it. Okay. So let me just do. If I want to type it in, there we go. I just go
8d6
8d6 and hit enter. Boom.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
I count 5. Yeah.
And no oofs. So you and Lana are down behind this conveniently abandoned wheelbarrow of concrete, which of course is going to, as it impacts. Prof, Melissa,
and there's that just that little screwball moment where, like, I'm on top of her, we're looking at each other, and I clear my throat and then kind of like gently, let her up. I say, but keep your head down.
Prof.
And mechanically, do I get anything for that extra hit, or is it just?
Alas, no.
I got what I needed. Got it. Okay.
Prof. Daka. Screaming. What do you do?
Oh, I am going to grab this Gauntlet City, Mel, and with one hand, and then with the other hand, I'm just gonna rip some. There's some metal sheeting on the ground that I'm just gonna kind of rip up and use as a shield and pull her with me.
Of course you are. So you get 2 dice for taking action, and 1. This is definitely a bruisery kind of thing, it seems to me, to take such physical action to even as a kind of defensive mechanism. I think this is also hands. So you get 6 dice. I'm not seeing any academic connections here yet. Time may tell. 6 dice again. I think there is so much lead in the air that you're going to have a difficulty of 4. Do you want to spend any spark to get from 6 dice to more?
Yes. Is it the spark will refresh? I guess we refresh that during episodes.
No, you will have to take action to improve your spark. I'll come to that at the end of the scene.
Gotcha. All
Just
right.
so,
So,
yeah. So yeah, if you run it down and then do stuff to build it up.
gotcha. I'm gonna spend 2 spark to get 2
Fine.
more.
So you've got 8 dice looking for 4 successes. Do your thing, Prof.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 successes.
Will you look at that? Easy
Zero-
peasy lemon
zero
squeezy.
oofs.
0 oofs. So, you know, ding, 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 ding. And the camera angle will be on the inside and we'll see the dimples appearing as the lead hits the outside of the protection you provided for you, Melissa. And Melissa, who's thrown her arm around your neck, looks at you. Professor.
Awesome.
Lana, Hildy threw you to the ground behind the concrete. What do we see you doing?
We see her taking, Hildy's hand to get up, and she says, "Well, thank you, gorgeous. I don't normally get this close to somebody the first time I meet them."
I say, I can't help but notice you somehow managed not to spill your champagne.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not going to make you roll for that. A socialite never spills their champagne. And this thing has curved away, but it looks, Craig, like it might be coming in for another strafing run. What do you do?
Sorry, Craig, it's me. What do I do? I'm still up on the girder, right?
Oh yeah, out there, 100 feet from any kind of safety.
Oh, well, that's where I function best. So that plane, how close by will it come to me?
Based on the last approach, if it follows the same kind of attack run, it was sweeping away underneath you, which was why you got, in the end of the bullet run.
Yeah, well, if it's underneath me, I'm on top of it, and I can jump down, and then I will be out of the reach of its weapons, and maybe
Okay.
can do it. And maybe I can fly it. That is awesome. I will try to do that.
Well, I'm going to come back to you because it's going to make that strafing run.
Yeah.
And at the end of that run, I'll come back to you. So, Hildy, Prof, Lana, it's coming back. Lana, what do you see as you see it? What do you do as you see it kind of arc around the Empire building, which is used to be the tallest building in New Gauntlet City? What do you do, Lana, as you see it kind of sweep around the back of that? You and the audience maybe think, oh, thank goodness, it's gone away. And then it appears around the back of the building and comes back for another attack. What do you do?
I'm gonna see if any of the people I know need help being pulled to cover behind a pillar.
Okay. Now this feels like perception, deduction. This seems like head is in play here. So I'm seeing 2 for take action. This isn't a hustler thing. I'm seeing another 3 for your very sharp mind. And I think I'm going to give you 2 for socialite, the 2 socialite bonus dice, because you know who's who here. This is your crowd. So I think you're looking at 7 dice. And I think the difficulty here is only 3.
All right.
Will you look at that?
Wow.
You guys are just killing me. That is 7 dice, 6 successes. I can only hope that in episode 2, all this luck has been used up. And what I think you will notice is that because this is the kind of show it is, this is more about chaos than it is about blood. So there is chaos. People are rushing about. Strangely, no one has been killed yet despite all this lead. But you do notice 2 things. One, someone has protected Miss McGillicuddy by apparently ripping some of the floor up. And the other thing you notice is that Mr. Mayor is being protected by several of those goons. But protected as he heads towards the elevator. And I will tell you for nothing, that he looks angry. What do you want to do with that, if anything?
I think I'm gonna follow him.
Hildy, Lana is heading for the elevator. There's quite a rush for the emergency stairs, but it looks like as anybody else tries to go to the elevator, one of the goons says, no, it's quicker that way, man.
I sigh, stand, and stride right to the edge of the building, reach down into my purse and pull out my compact, flip it open, and turn it towards the plane to try and catch the sun in the mirror so that I can blind the pilot temporarily, just for a moment to give Craig a chance to act.
Fine. Now I'll ask you in a moment whether you want to treat that as taking action or whether you simply want to donate some spark to Craig. I'll come back to you in a moment. Think about that. Prof, the crowd is, and it feels like there's you and Melissa in the middle of this floor. And this aircraft is this, biplane coming in towards you. And any second now, they're going to cross that line where they open up again. What do you want to do, Prof?
I know exactly what I want to do. I'll tell them, stay there. And I'm gonna scoop up the scissors that she used to cut the ribbon.
Yeah.
I think because there's still construction going on, that they tried to cover, a lot of it with like this multitude of balloons, almost like a rainbow.
Okay.
And I'm gonna start cutting and have the colorful balloons, get in the way of hopefully make a screen to stop the plane.
Again, I'm going to ask you in a moment whether you want that to be take action or whether you simply want to use that as a way to help Craig, whatever Craig is going to do. So Lana, you are heading to the elevator in pursuit of Mr. Mayor. And one of the goons is saying, ma'am, you'll be much safer. The elevator, we don't know if it's safe. He wants to put you off. What do you want to do?
I'm going to address the mayor by whatever his first name is.
Tell us what his first name is.
Let's see, his last name's Martin. Mark.
Of course it's Mark. Of course it's Mark. And is what do you say? What's the tone?
It's friendly, and I'm aiming to appeal. I figure he knows probably my dad from business circles.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably donated to the mayor's campaign at some point.
Yeah.
So, what are you wanting from Mark Martin, Mayor Mark Martin?
I want to be on the elevator down. I'm gonna appeal to him and be friendly and be like, oh, it's been a few days since we've seen each other, how'd the golf game go or whatever. You wouldn't want to force a lady to walk down all these 100 flights of stairs, would you?
Okay, this seems to me, this is absolutely the hustler in play, I think. So you get 1 for hustler, you get 2 for taking action. You are pulling the socialite out of the bag, so that's 5. And it is also jaw, which is another 3. So this is 8 dice. And I think that this is going to still be a difficulty of 4. So 8 dice, 4. Do you want to make that 8 dice any higher by spending some spark?
No, I'll go with my luck.
8 dice. I'm looking for 4 successes. Oof, goes the crowd. That is
not good.
That is not good. That is 2 successes and 2 oofs. So why is there an oof here? What is this the result of physical intervention by the goon? Or is this just somebody sees the social kind of baby? Or what?
I think something physical by one of the goons sounds good. There.
And he just pushes you in the chest. This ain't no golf game, lady. And you tumble onto the ground. It'll cost you 2 spark. Hildy, you see this. The mayor is in the elevator. The goon who pushed Lana to the ground is getting into the elevator. You are, you see it in the mirror as you're in that decision point now. Do you do something about what's going on behind you, or do you stick with the plan to distract the pilot?
I say, I don't know what you got planned, Jeeves, but you better do it quick. Yelling up to Craig, and then yep. And I'm going to use my thing to donate spark to Craig to help make his action more effective.
Prof, can I ask you the same question? Do you want to take action to do something, and if so, what? Or with the balloons, or are these balloons a narrative device to add some spark to Craig?
To add spark, definitely.
Okay, so in it comes daka 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 daka. I am going to require you, Hildy, as you stand there, kind of, trying to distract him. You are in the line of fire, so I need you to somehow avoid getting oofed. So I'm thinking here, this is the friendly thing to do. You get 1 dice for that, 2 for taking action. Ace reporter, not seeing it myself. I think that this is largely a matter of.
It's probably feet, right?
I think
if
it's
I'm
feet,
trying to keep from getting shot.
I tell you what, it's either feet or tools. Take your pick.
Feet.
Compact as tool.
Yes, feet.
Feet. Okay. So I think that we are at 5 dice. And this is about distracting him enough in order to not get hit. So I think the difficulty here is going to be 4 with 5 dice.
Okay, so I'm gonna put in 3 to give me 8. One, 2, 3, exactly 4, but I got 2 oofs.
So why is there an oof in this, or any oof in this?
I mean, I think there's an oof in this because while the machine gun bullets don't hit me, they hit enough of like what I'm standing on that the bit of floor I'm on just collapses out from under me and I tumble down into the floor below.
Great.
Like ass over tea kettle. Yeah.
Mark some oofs, but I think certainly you have distracted him enough to be in a position to donate the spark in a moment. Prof, how are you going to avoid being hit long enough to make the contribution?
Oh, I'm gonna. Oh, there's that wheelbarrow that was turned over. I'm gonna grab it, use it like a shield, and I have the scissors in the other hand.
You should be wearing Jim's t-shirt. There's no question about this. Jim, do you want to just show us that t-shirt? There she blows. Okay. So, Prof, yeah, I think that this is about agility more than strength on this occasion. But I'm going to give you the Bruiser, taking action. I'm looking at feet, which is another 2. Again, I'm not sure academic plays here, so I'm looking at 5 dice. Difficulty is 4. Success will allow you to use the balloons. Oofs may be harm.
I'm gonna spend 3 spark to bring that to 8.
Went the crowd.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Oh, hold on.
I don't know where they went.
Okay, we'll try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, sorry. I think that might have been me. I was erasing my old dice I used, but I didn't realize Rob was highlighting because it doesn't show me. It doesn't show us what the other person is doing until it gets rolled. Sorry about that.
No worries.
1, 2, 3, 4, and
6,
and 1 oof.
and 1 oof. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what form does the oof take? Is this just the strain of lifting this?
Yeah,
Or
I think
what?
so. I think so.
In that kind of not very good evening dress that you were wearing.
Right.
I think as you raise this, probably the sleeve bulges and bursts as we see just how well put together Prof. Mary Mag is. But it's heavy, this concrete. But it succeeds. Mark an oof. Reduce spark by 1 for the oof, but you are in a position to donate spark to Craig. Craig, screaming and chaos downstairs, the clatter of high heels on emergency staircases. You're out there in the middle of nowhere, and the plane sweeps underneath you, and you do what?
I jump on the plane, of course. I mean, I know planes, right? I'm an ace pilot. I can jump on planes. I've done that before. I think, not sure, but yeah.
If you haven't done it before, you've thought about it.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. Never mind. Anyway,
I think this might be Daredevilish.
But maybe, I guess, yeah.
Taking action gets you another 2. This is definitely to do with your air ace capacity. So you're at 5. And then I think it's about agility and feet. So that's
8.
But this is not easy.
No.
Leaping into space above a moving biplane.
Yep.
100 floors above New Gauntlet City. I think the difficulty of this is 5.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a lot of difficulty. I will use some spark of my own.
Well, before you use your own, let's ask Hildy and Prof how much they want to donate. Hildy?
I'm gonna put in 2.
Okay.
That's 10 dice.
10 dice.
Prof, how much spark are you prepared to put in your balloons, so to speak?
2 as well.
Okay, so that's 12 dice looking for 5 successes. Craig?
Yeah, for luck, I will put one of my own. So I'm at 13. just
13 dice. You're gonna roll 13 dice.
Yeah,
wow.
Well, I told you we would need those dice.
And you are not wrong. So hit me with 13 dice.
I'm hitting you with 13 dice. There are a lot of dice. I need 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, but I have 4 oofs.
Oh,
wow.
4 oofs.
That takes me down to 0, 0 spark.
Okay, but you succeed. You have landed on the biplane.
Yeah.
Successfully.
Yeah.
But with no spark. Now, if I just refer you to the rules tab, folks, it says when your pulp hero runs out of spark and they are down, you cannot do anything awesome until spark is restored to at least 1.
Okay.
So your pilot and air ace capacities here are not in play. Yet you are on a biplane.
I am on a biplane, and I will yell at. You know what? When I'm jumping, I will yell something, and what I will yell is, I think I will yell. I will yell first. I'm the first to get to the plane, right? I'm first. So that might restore my spark.
Give yourself back a point of spark.
See, there I am.
There you are, still in the game.
Still in the game. Yeah.
So Hildy, Prof, Craig just leapt into midair, and I think that just for the sheer cinematic joy of it, I have to see you clutch the edge of the top wing of the biplane, as it zooms away. Lana,
and my eyes are wide, and as I see him leap out into space, I was not expecting that. He lands it and hits. And I say, hold the front page as the plane banks back around.
Give yourself a point of spark. Lana, elevator doors have closed. Mayor is in motion down. What, if anything, do you want to do? Hildy fell through the floor. So we don't forget.
Yeah.
The only other person left up here at the moment is Prof, who's sheltering behind this concrete, and Melissa McGillicuddy. What do you want to do?
So I'm going to take a quick look at Craig hanging from the plane and be somewhat surprised that my chauffeur is quite so daring even though I'm sure I've heard about his time in the war, it's still not what I expected. And then I'm going to head down to the next floor to check on Hildy, make sure she didn't break anything tumbling through the floor.
Fine. Prof, you and Melissa still up there. Everybody else has gone. You know, the last person you see is Lana Morgan, heir to the Morgan millions, heading down the emergency staircase after the crowd. And there was some other woman over there who fell through the floor.
Oh, wait, who fell to the floor? Hildy?
Hildy.
Oh, right, okay. I look over to Mel just to make sure she's okay, and I'm gonna run over to where I think I saw the woman fall.
Melissa McGillicuddy is staring straight past you at the man hanging from the upper wing of the biplane.
Right.
Oh my, she says. And then you go to check what's what with the whatnot. Craig, there you are. We have to start with that shot straight on, your cheeks being pushed back by the wind as this zooms off towards the Empire building. What do you do?
I try to get into the cockpit because
this biplane has to have dual controls, one fore, one aft.
Oh, okay. I'll take the aft controls then.
So you want to drop into the controls behind the pilot.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to make you roll for that. I think that, you know, you did well enough on those rolls to drop and then just slide back down into the rear seat. Your estimate is he's going to go around the building and try again.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
So
is there by chance, I mean, is there anything that I can use in the cockpit to maybe take him out of commission? Because it is not very helpful if we both try to fly the plane.
Well, that's the problem. I think that for you to be able to take control of the plane, you need to either disable him or disable his controls, because I think that probably the rear seat is in some way subsidiary to the front seat.
Yeah, but but I'm behind him, right? So and he is kind of busy, I think, with flying the plane and firing the guns and stuff like that. So I will.
He probably doesn't even know you're there yet. What I will say is that you might be able to kind of just reach down there into the control wires, because we're talking about physical connections here. And maybe you can use tools to tinker with this. So suddenly, you know, this joystick is doing nothing.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't seem very Daredevilish though.
Well, I simply put that on the table.
Yeah.
You're a butler. You have a necktie.
Yeah, you're right. I do. Thank you, Lana, for that uniform. Yes, I think I'd rather, because fiddling around with that stuff, I mean, you need to be clever to actually know what you're doing here, and the clever is not something people have ascribed to me.
This is the first Nazi somebody can actually punch.
Yes, I want to punch the Nazi, right? That was my thought as well. So this is a Nazi, I want to punch him, and I will use my necktie to kind of get over his head, pull him back, and I will punch him.
Okay, now I think the reason I think this is Daredevilish is, of course, you can't belt yourself in while you clamber up over the front, and so Daredevil counts. Taking action gives you 2. I think that hands give you another 3. That's 6. And I think you know enough about this plane to know what you could do. So I think that gives you another, so 8 dice. Difficulty is still going to be 4.
Okay, I do not have spark to spend on this.
Well, you have 1.
Yeah, but if I spend it, I'm down. And can't take any oofs. I mean, could take more oofs. It doesn't matter anyway. So, no, I'm good with 8. I'm good with 8.
Okay.
I think how many successes do I need? Because he doesn't suspect I'm here, but he doesn't suspect I'm here.
Oh, I'll give you 3. There you go. What about that?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm rolling these 8 dice. Come on, babies. Nice to me. You are not quite. I've got an oof. But I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes.
So this goes really well. You know, you tell me what the circumstances are then, because you pull him back. We'll see him go, look up, and then.
And I punch him, and he, poof, right? But I think he drops like unfortunately on the controls, and now he's stuck there, and the plane is kind of yeah. That's what's happening.
Love it. But that's the oof. So you cannot be awesome, and you cannot use first a second time in the scene. Prof, it definitely looked like, you see him, he goes round the back of the Empire building as though he's going to come back for another attack. And yet the only people on this floor now are you and Melissa. And then he's diving down towards Fourth Avenue. Strange but true. Craig, you notice that he has earphones on. It looks like he's in radio contact with somebody, but he's slumped forward, punched unconscious. Hildy, Lana, you're on the floor below, the 99th floor, also open. Hildy, what do you want to do?
I turn to Lana and I say, I know you normally hire people to do this sort of thing, but this is a two-man operation, I say. And I point to the window washing platform that has been pulled up to this level, because this is where they get on and load it up. Like, this is as high as it can go, right? And I hop onto one side of it and I point to the other side of Lana, and we've both got to like do this thing with the rope to get down to the bottom. I say, just don't look down.
Now, I'm not going to make you roll for that. I find the whole thing just too much fun. And at one point, it feels like it's not going quick enough, Hildy. And you notice that the reason it's not going quick enough is there's a wedge that kind of engages at intervals. You'd move much quicker if you just pulled the wedge out.
Oh, okay. I say, hold on to your tiara, princess. And I pull it out.
And suddenly it's less moving it down as stopping it moving too quickly. But you are making good progress. Down you go. Prof, as I said, it's only you and Melissa left up here. A moment alone above New Gauntlet City. But why were they coming back? There's only 2 targets left up here.
Well, I can't imagine that Miss Gauntlet City has any enemies. Maybe there is I'm gonna tell her there must be something valuable here. Help me look for it. I'm assuming there's something that's here that must be what they're targeting.
Craig, I think we're nearing the end of this episode. How are you going to stop this thing crashing into the center of New Gauntlet City?
I mean, I will have to assume control of this plane, right?
Of course you will.
This is the only way. And the not punched out Nazi is kind of weirdly. I will have to reach around that punch out Nazi. Like, I'm getting in there in the same cockpit with this guy. Like, I'm sorry, I apologize a little, because that's the kind of guy I am. I apologize to the punched out Nazi.
I hoped you were going to say that, because I see you pulling him back and clambering in on his lap.
Yeah. Yes. That's
in order to try and get control of this.
And
okay.
Then I'll take control of the plane, fly a little looping. And I mean, it's a plane. I'm happy. I'm going to fly a plane. It's fun.
I'm not going to make you roll for that. I just think that's too good, as it swoops down, and we'll cut to ground level where Hildy and Lana are just getting out of the window washing apparatus.
Oh.
And absolutely, this is a thing where like I go hustling up to where, and we see like the dial on the elevator coming down to 1, right? to whatever, to G. And when the doors open, ding, I'm standing there with my pad. Your Honor, any commentary on fleeing the scene while you left citizens of New Gauntlet City to their fate upstairs?
And I guess that's the point at which the two goons and the mayor, their attention goes from you. We see them over your shoulder, look up, and we hear, Lana, you turn round, and there, heading down 4th Avenue, is a biplane, and cut to Craig in the seat, pulling it back, and whoosh. End of episode 1.
And I will look at Lana because she's my, and I say, ma'am, your ride's here.
Cut. This is a great place for a break. Let's make it about 5 minutes, so about 6 minutes past the hour. Okay, I'll see you then. Okay, back from our break, and about halfway through this episode of Hit the Nazi, Retrieve the Ark. So we are going to kick off with the kind of aftermath of that episode and then frame our next episode. So I suppose I am curious, Craig, what, if anything, happens when you land the biplane at New Gauntlet City International Airport?
Oh, I landed at the airport. I thought I was landing.
No
in front
way.
of the building.
Oh, okay, no,
Or like
okay.
in the park or something like that.
On the
Yeah.
park
Yes.
on 4th Avenue. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep. I'm just landing it there and I'm leaving it there. It's not mine. But what I do is I will notice that there's a bit of chaos because some people come out of the building, right? And I think there are some civilians, some maybe older people. So I'll check if my employer is okay, but she seems to be fine. And then I say, I'll help these folks over there, right? They might need a hand or two.
Right. That's a great segue into, if I ask you all to check out the rules tab, you'll see there's a chunk of that tab called Refreshing Your Spark. And what Sabine has cunningly done here as Craig is to being plain old nice to folks. When you go out of your way to help someone other than a hero or frame a scene so you can do so, roll to take action with heart versus a difficulty of 2 or 3 if there's a reason for them to be on their guard. I don't think there's a reason for them to be on their guard against you, Craig, so the difficulty is 2. So go ahead, roll an action with heart. Let me think. So heart, unless you're going to tell me how this makes it Daredevil-ishly, I think I'm probably looking at 2 for take action, and your heart is 2 more, so that's 4. And air ace and driver, I'm not seeing that as applying particularly. So I'm seeing 4 dice being rolled against a difficulty. Hang on, that's not meant to say what it says. Hang on, let me just read that again.
Yeah, sure.
No, you just roll an action with heart.
Mm-hmm.
And you gain +1 per POW. That, yeah, forget. I don't know what I was thinking there. So just roll 4 dice.
Mm-hmm.
Any 4, 5, and 6s earns you a POW.
Can we say that this is still a construction site, right? So maybe someone took a wrong turn and needs to be rescued, like Daredevil-ishly from
a falling piece of debris.
Yes.
Okay. I narratively I can go with that. Give yourself another dice.
Cool.
4 dice.
Thank you. I like 4 dice. So I've got 5, right?
5 dice. Sorry, 5.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Counting dice. Yep. Wow.
Ignore the oofs on this one.
Okay.
Ignore the oofs.
Okay.
So that's 2 POWs.
Okay.
Spark goes up by 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
It says any oofs and your effort costs you something. But I mean,
the effort costs you something. I think it means, what could it cost you? I know what it costs you. The pilot wakes up and disappears.
Oh yes. And my uniform gets torn, which might get me in hot water with my employer, right? Or her father, which is kind of
maybe the peak cap blew off in all of this.
Oh yeah, I lost my cap. Yeah, I lost both the Nazi and the cap, but there were 3 oofs, so I found that as fair.
Hildy, I'll be honest with you, I don't think the mayor they're just going to go straight through you and disappear unless you've got some way in which refreshing your spark could link to this.
Well,
And I will, there are some other ways to refresh spark there.
I mean, when I take the opportunity to fraternize with a named NPC, which is what I was gonna do.
Okay, you get 4 spark if you say, what form does the fraternization take?
The fraternization. So like I break the ice by saying, first, Mr. Mayor, any commentary on whether the zookeeper has contacted you for the 2 missing gorillas from the compound? Indicating the thick-necked goons that are guarding him.
Oh,
like I ask it like it's a totally serious question.
Yeah,
right?
very funny, Hildy.
And then I say, and then I kind of get into like a lot of excitement up there. What are you going to say to the people of New Gauntlet City to set them at ease, to make sure they know that this kind of thing isn't going to happen every day?
Well, Hildy, entirely off the record here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going over to
and when he says off the record, I flip the notebook closed and I tuck it into my my little suit jacket. Yeah.
The first thing I need is a drink.
And I raise an eyebrow and I say, well, I'm not a cop, so I'd be happy to join you, Your Honor.
And we see you slip in to a bar just down from this building site, where you will fraternize. So we know what form the fraternization takes. This is a drink. Off the record.
Yep.
We know, I want you to tell me what valuable secret you give away, and I will judge if the secret is valuable enough. And as in all of these kind of games, you know everything that anybody else knows.
Yeah. I think, what is the valuable secret that I do? Oh, the valuable secret I know is that I know who jumped onto the plane and probably talked to whoever the pilot was and got him to spill his guts.
Okay.
And that that it was, and I kind of I can't help but well, it's Lana Morgan of the Morgan Millions. And,
it's the Morgan Millions.
Yes, and that was her driver that pulled the wing walking act there. And I'm sure he probably knows everything that pilot knows now.
Lana and Craig are in whatever firing line, because the other thing is, except that the person you are fraternizing with is now defined as a villain if they aren't one already. So we now know, the rest of us know, that Mark Martin, the mayor, is a genuinely bad man. He is not just an innocent bystander here, he is a villain. Prof, you and Melissa see the aircraft swoop down and land in the park below. Is there anything you want to do to refresh your spark?
I'm also gonna, oh gosh.
Fraternize with Melissa?
I think so. I think
and
that makes more
accept
sense.
that she will become a villain?
The player can accept it. The character might take some time.
Indeed, yes. So what form does the fraternization take?
Oh,
I screen wipe to you and Melissa where? Still up there, or?
Yeah, I think it's our journeys down.
Oh, down
I'm
in the lift. Yeah.
And I'll make sure she's okay, that she's safe. I'll awkwardly tell her some myths where heroes had to travel, through Hades, and how they were scared but they made it through.
What did you notice, or what have you suddenly noticed, either in the heat of the moment earlier, or in the way the lift is decorated? What mythological motif is repeated here?
Oh, I think the siren luring sailors to their doom, I think.
And so I think when you say, have you noticed how, you know, this, and you explain how this freeze around the top of the lift. I saw that on a couple of upstairs, and you tell her the myth. And Melissa says, oh, really, Prof?
Yes.
Gee, I didn't know that. And Melissa McGillicuddy is also a villain. And you get 4 spark.
I'll take it. I think the secret that I let slip is that I'm in love with her.
Oh, that's not a secret. That's obvious.
Oh, okay. Well,
and she is showing every kind of sense of responding really positively to you, Prof. But the secret you give away is that you have spotted those sirens.
okay.
Those sirens are going to be important somehow as our
Gotcha.
story unfolds.
Cool.
But you get 4 spark out of it. And Melissa McGillicuddy, Miss New Gauntlet City 1935, is a Nazi villain. Lana, what do you want to refresh some spark in this kind of inter-episode moment?
Yeah, I think we see Lana, checking up on the other people who are at the party, making sure nobody's too shaken up and trying to reassure people. And
Oh, Lana,
talking
how are
about-
you so calm? Gee, Lana, we wondered what had happened to you. Yeah, lots of people in rumpled evening dress, desperately lighting cigarettes, and just generally feeling very uncertain until Lana comes on the scene. People say, oh, Lana, she's always so calm, so cool.
She is so still holding that glass of champagne
Exactly.
from before.
Exactly.
Even with like going down on the the window washing thing and stuff.
It only takes one hand. So Lana, let us have you roll with heart. So you taking action just gives you 2. Your heart is, I've lost it, another 2. So that's 4 dice. I think the context of the socialite gives you another 2.
Right.
And I mean, for this to work, it has to be genuine concern. So I don't think the hustler is at play here.
Nah.
So 6 dice, roll them. Any POWs earn spark. So just roll 6, put 66, return. There you go. Oh, dearie me, just the one. Gee whiz.
Yeah.
And somebody says, do you think she's really concerned? So Hildy, you've had a chance. Prof, you've had a chance. Lana, you've had a chance. Craig, you've had a chance to refresh your spark screen wipe to episode 2. Let's go to the episodes tab. Now I insisted on starting with Sabine. This time I start with Mari. Now we are in episode 2 and we are starting from the very top. Mari, there's a drop down under what do you need to achieve in this episode? So make a selection. What do you want this episode to be focused on? Because so far the mystery is who was trying to get shot. And the only conclusion we, the audience, have come to is that Melissa was the target. Because why was he continuing to try to shoot when everybody else had gone? Unless it's the professor. So what do you want this second episode to be about? Something is going to happen at a certain time or place. Stop it. Someone is in danger. Save them. It's interesting if it's a different one. Something is in danger. Save it. Someone must get somewhere safely. Ensure nothing untoward happens on the way. Something must get somewhere safely. Ensure nothing untoward happens on the way. What do you want?
Let's go with someone is in danger.
Okay. And at this point in the proceedings, so if you select that one and hit return, it should hold. So someone is in danger. I'm not going to ask you who at this point. That takes me to Jim in this episode. Where is the principal location this time? And the options are, do you want to stay in New Gauntlet City? Or do you want to go further afield to a town or village? a wilderness feature miles from anywhere, an archaeological site, or a secret facility?
I want a wilderness feature miles from anywhere, specifically an island off the coast.
Well, we may come to that in
sorry.
a moment.
Sorry. Oh, that's local terrain. There we go.
Okay.
I want a
So
wilderness feature miles from anywhere. There
we know
go.
what. Now we
Okay.
determine what's the local climate, Prof. Rod, where do you want this to be? The temperate zones, perhaps in North America near New Gauntlet City, or somewhere in the Midwest? I don't know. Or do you want to go cold, freezing, hot, tropical, or equatorial?
And this is an island, a
No,
wilderness?
this is a
Wilderness.
All we know is that it's wilderness. It's wilderness somewhere.
Wilderness feature miles from anywhere.
Ooh.
But miles from anywhere in which climatic zone?
And this is movie stuff, so we don't need to explain how we got to,
No,
like,
the way we explain how
exactly.
you get there
we
is
got to Havana or whatever. Yeah.
there's a map of the world with New Gauntlet City and a red line that shows an aeroplane moving from one place to another. So, Prof, where do you want this to be?
Oh golly. Let's tropical.
Tropical, select tropical, and hit return. Okay, this brings me around, I think, to Sabine. Sabine, where would you like to see Craig? What local terrain? Would you like to see him in plains, hills, mountains, brush, desert, or forest?
So we're tropical, miles away from civilization. I think this is mountainy. Yes, mountains, like Andes or something, maybe.
Mountains in the tropics. Geography? Who needs no stinking geography? And let me now come round to Mari. What constitutes the most significant, though probably not the only threat in this episode? Is this unknowing dupes manipulated by someone? Is it supernatural creatures? Is it occultists working for the Nazi occult? Is it pseudoscientists working for the Nazi occult? Is it the Axis military working for the Nazi occult? Or supernatural forces working through one of those?
I'm going to go with occultists.
I have to say, very popular choice. Occultists working for the Nazi occult. Where does that take me? That takes me to Jim, I think. Jim, tell us about a place in this location you want to be part of the narrative. So do you want to define the wilderness feature here?
Oh, a place in this location I want to be part of the narrative is
and just to go back to your original suggestion, there is no reason why this cannot be an island in a large lake hidden in the mountains.
Oh no, I mean the place that's the location is the semi-active volcano.
We have a semi-active volcano in play. Thank you. Now tell us about someone. I've lost track of where I've got to. I go back round to, have I been to Sabine once or twice? I think it's back to Rod. Rod,
Yes.
Tell us about someone you want to be part of the narrative of this location. Now, any villains in play are mine to deploy if I want to, but there's no reason why you shouldn't put someone we already know about here, or add someone.
I want to add someone. I want to at some point have a fisticuffs with Elda, who is a large, muscular Nazi woman.
Elda, the Nazi weightlifter, is now in play. Add Elda, the Nazi weightlifter, to that slot. Which takes me, I think, to Sabine for your second choice. And then I think...
Yes, I know who I want.
Who do you want?
I want Günther, the pilot that got off from the plane. And I will spell the name in the chat here because I know umlauts are not easy.
And so few of us know how to deal with them anyway. I envy you that linguistic sophistication. So Gunther, the Nazi pilot is going to be in play here. Okay. And we need to remind ourselves that Mayor Mark Martin and Miss Gauntlet City 1935, Melissa McGillicuddy, are also villains I could deploy if you don't.
Oh, can I rename the pilot into Manfred? Because I feel it needs to be a name of them.
Manfred, fine. Okay, so Manfred is in place, is in play. Okay, so someone is in danger, save them. Prof.
Yes.
You would do to meet Melissa for a date at her apartment. When you arrive, the door is ajar and no one responds to your knock. What do?
I open it knocking and walk in. Mel, it's me. Are you there?
No.
Anyone there?
No answer.
Oh, no, I start getting.
It's like the Marie Celeste.
I get more nervous at every step.
Her date dress is laid out on the bed. There is some evidence of disturbance. Maybe some stuff's been knocked over. But there on the ground is a map showing tropical Southeast Asia. And circled on the map is a mountain range. Consider that a clue.
Right.
Who do you contact?
I think at some point I would have tried to contact the person who saved us, maybe through his employer, Lana Morgan. So I think I know she has the means to get us anywhere, the money. So I will contact her.
Lana, Professor Marimag gets in touch to say, Melissa McGillicuddy's disappeared. I think she's in Southeast Asia somewhere.
I could certainly help. We can get Craig to fly us there. He's good with normal planes as well.
Because you know, the heir of the Morgan millions has access to the Morgan Milemaster, a prototype seaplane, perhaps. Craig, Lana tells you that she needs you to fly her and maybe some others to Southeast Asia.
Okay, I lost my cap, but I will fly you.
Lana, do you have another cap?
Of course.
This one has wings on the front.
I will take better care of this cap.
But Lana, who else are you going to call?
We're going to get Hildy to come with us, since
Like, I don't even necessarily think she needs to call me, because I've been angling for an interview with Craig since I saw that.
At the point where you're having that conversation, Lana, camera pans and there's Hildy with her pad. Fine. The team's back together again. Screen wipe to Craig. Describe what makes the Milemaster, the Morgan Milemaster, this prototype aircraft, so distinctive.
I think what makes it so distinctive is, well, there are two things. Yeah, well, one of them is it's pretty quiet for a plane that size. And the second is the exquisite champagne bar. I mean, it's got champagne and other champagne, and all of it is from the Champagne region of France. So it's real champagne.
Lana, apart from the champagne bar, what makes the interior of the Morgan Milemaster appropriate to the Morgan family?
It's decorated like one of those old fancy rail cars from the late 1800s.
Fine. Fancy 1800s decor. ... Okay. Prof, what shocks you about the Morgan Milemaster, apart from what we already know?
Oh,
What are you not expecting?
it makes a lot of noise, a
Uh,
lot of
but-
rattles.
Sadly, already we've got quiet.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Craig pointed out it's quiet and has a champagne bar.
Yes, I remember the champagne bar.
To the point
Uh,
where when those corks are popping, you hardly know the engines are running.
Oh, cool. I noticed that there's only 3 parachutes.
Not enough parachutes. That was unexpected. Hildy, tell me something else, anything else about the Morgan Milemaster.
It doesn't have windows. It's got a full glass top roof. Like there's a beam that runs down the middle, but otherwise like the sides are just like one huge curved piece of glass going down either side.
The observation car, inverted
Yes.
commas.
Yeah.
The only place that is kind of closed in is probably the rather luxurious bedrooms.
Well, and the restroom probably.
And the restroom. Wow, the Morgan Milemaster is some kind of aeroplane, Craig. This is not the Sopwith Camel you flew in the war.
Yeah, it's kind of almost a bit boring, right? But I mean, you can just jump out of the window, but you shouldn't because there's not enough parachutes for all of us. So, well, I in charge of bringing them, then I forgot mine.
How do we feel about maybe taking a minute? Because I'm looking at the refreshing your spark. One of the things you can do is get to know the other heroes.
Exactly. I was
Yeah.
going to
You
go
find
there
space
next.
in the narrative. There we go.
Now
Cool.
that you're all in the
Mhm.
same place with a space,
Mhm.
how do you want to use it? I'm going to start with the person who has least spark to play with at the moment, because that seems logical. So Craig, you are currently sitting on 2 spark.
Yeah.
There is an option in the rules to refresh it by getting to know the other heroes. Which is there a hero you want to target for this?
I think I totally would love to hear things about my employer, Lana, but I can't talk to her because she's my employer and I can't go ask questions to her. But this reporter lady is talking to me and asking me questions, so I can ask questions back.
She plops right down in the co-pilot next to you and like kicks her feet up on the dashboard.
Okay, so then.
So the way this works is that there are increasingly intrusive questions, if you like. So you can ask a question of Hildy, and if Hildy chooses to answer a routine question about their life or their past, you will get 1 spark. You can then escalate that to a probing or intimate question, and if Hildy agrees to answer that, you get a 2nd spark. And finally, if Hildy reveals her greatest fear to you, you get a 3rd spark. Yeah? And then Hildy has the option to come back at you.
Nice.
So what do you want to know as Hildy kind of relaxes there? Probably with a glass of champagne.
Oh, of course.
Champagne bar.
Hildy has a beer.
Oh, of course she does.
Oh,
And did
okay.
you bring one for Craig?
Oh, I absolutely did. Like I kind of brought and like I maybe even introduced myself by doing that thing where like I dangled 2 beers out and I say, and I just like hand him one, and I, I pull out my keychain and I pop them both. I hand him the other, and we, dink the tops of the bottles. And I look at it and I say, well, German, but what can you do?
Oh, well, I don't want to punch that. I will drink it. You're a reporter, right?
What gave me away, I say? Is it all the questions, the notepad? The fact that my name is on the masthead of the paper?
No, you weren't with the other press people at the opening.
They're dunderheads. They just get in my way.
Oh, wow. So you're ambitious reporter.
No reason not to be.
Yeah.
You don't do a job if you don't want to do it well.
I think that answers a routine question.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Gain 1 spark, Craig.
Yep. Yeah.
Where do you want to go next? Probing or intimate?
Yeah, of course. I just want to see what kind of intimate question I will ask her. I think relationship status is kind of obvious, right? Oh, but Craig is an obvious guy, so he'll say, well, yeah, and your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever is kind of supporting you with that. Obviously, someone like you.
I snicker and I say, no, Craig, they pay reporters. I don't know whether you knew that or not, but this gig keeps me busy, Craig, awful busy. Too busy to have someone at home all the time, but one of the nice things about moving around is that and I kind of let that dangle there.
Good enough for another spark, Craig.
Okay.
Can you get her to reveal her greatest fear?
I think I'll ask her this. I think you're too young to have been a war reporter. I've seen reporters in war. They were kind of a grizzled bunch. You seem pretty chipper. So guess you weren't in a situation like that before?
And I raise my eyebrow and I turn to Craig and I say, do you know what an MRS degree is, Craig?
No.
It's what they expect you to get when you go to school. Family like mine, it means that the only reason you're going to school is so that you can find a nice boy, marry him, settle down, be respectable.
Nothing about that.
My father says that my education afflicted me with the curse of curiosity. But I got to tell you, grizzled war correspondents going to places that are dangerous. I will do anything to avoid being my mother, sitting in that house, just waiting for him to come home and just frittering my life away. If that means I get blown up somewhere in the Spanish Civil War, well, at least people will know my name.
Okay.
Can I just then explore that so I know how to operationalize it? Does this mean that you are reckless?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So you are afraid of doing nothing.
I am afraid of being sidelined. Like of getting scooped, right?
Okay.
Not so much getting scooped, but being dismissed and not being where the action is.
So your greatest fear is not being in the action.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Write that in because I think I can work with that.
Okay.
Not being in the action. Okay. And that will give you that third spark, Craig. Now, Hildy, I'll give you a chance.
I'm gonna make that more of like I'm gonna tie my journalism thing, and it's basically not seeing the story happen is what it is. You know what I mean?
Okay. Now I'm going to let Hildy just stew for a moment and go back to the other two. And Prof, Let me think. Who's worst off at the moment? I think this is
A
Prof.
little worse. Yeah.
You are a little worse in terms of where you stand on Spark. So who do you want to have a conversation with?
Oh, definitely
You want to
with
have a
Lana.
conversation with Lana? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, since we haven't had a chance to interact.
So go ahead.
I approach very, very shyly, I just wanted to thank you, Miss Morgan. You didn't have to do this. I know this is a big favor, and we don't even really know each other well. Aside from that time at the skyscraper.
Oh, it's no problem. I'm happy to help out. It's far more interesting than just attending parties and galas and such.
Right.
Do you need another champagne, a cigar, or anything?
Oh, I'll look over to where the other two are, and I'll think, if you have a beer, I'll take a beer.
Sure. She gets you a beer from the bar, pours it in a glass for you.
But I can't even imagine what kind of. Do you really get bored from all that? I mean, look at this plane. It's so fancy. I can imagine what your house must look like.
Yeah, yes, it's quite a lovely house, but I don't know. Everybody's always so nice and polite, and it's just talking to people, and none of it really means much. And so anything that's more interesting than that is nice to have happen.
That answer earns you 1 spark, Prof.
Okay.
Where do you want to go next? Where do you want to probe?
I will but surely I'll ask family question. Surely have a loving family to keep you at home rather than going off helping strangers like me.
Oh, my dad's all right, but he's always tied up in business, and my mom was, she was loving in her own way, but between her drinking problem and she favored my older brother anyway, so. And then
second spark, Prof.
Right.
As Lana takes another drink.
So I'll talk about how Zeus had many offsprings and trying to awkwardly console her, and then awkwardly try to segue into. I know it's going to be her greatest fear, but I'm going to try to draw that out by saying my greatest fear, which is to make the same mistake that that Orpheus did when he went down to Hades, and and how he left his beloved behind. Obviously, I'm talking about Mel, and how he failed her. And I hope I can't imagine what a person must feel like if they ever made that kind of mistake.
Yeah.
Lana, you don't have to reveal your greatest fear.
Yeah, I think she's not going to at this point.
Fine. Let me go back to Hildy. Hildy, do you want to come back at Craig or look elsewhere?
Oh no, I'll come back at Craig. Absolutely.
Okay.
How did you come to be in the employ of Lana Millions back there?
I think her last name's Morgan. I was a driver for another person, Luciani, I think. Yes, Mr. Luciani. And then Mr. Luciani talked to Mr. Morgan, and Mr. Morgan said, "You're working for me now, you drive my daughter around." I said, "Okay." So that's how I came into the employ of that. And I came to Mr. Luciani because he hired me. I've been a driver since the war, basically, because that's what I can do. That's what I'm good at. I'm good at driving cars.
Mark one spark, Hildy. Where do you want to go next?
Just because there's a war on doesn't mean you can't drive for your just because there's not a war on right now doesn't mean you can't drive for your Uncle Sam anymore. How'd you go to wait a minute. Do you mean Mr. Marani, Don Marani?
Yep, that one.
Well, step up. Certainly, well, I would have said that going from Marani to Morgan meant less lead flying in your direction, but from the other day, it's probably clearly not the case.
I didn't see that much lead. This is after the war. I got kicked out, I guess. There was a misunderstanding. I wasn't supposed to take that plane. I thought I was, and I flew it. I flew it to Puerto Rico, and then I ended up on the beach. And they said, "Craig Carter, you weren't supposed to do that. You're out." And I said, "Well, okay then."
Second spark.
Okay, I don't think, yes. It's there. And I say, and I kind of look, I say, well, Craig, you're very good at this, but what are we poor ladies going to do if something happens to you?
Oh, I won't let that happen. I couldn't live with myself if I let anything to happen to people I'm with, right? That has always been the thing when we were in the war, and I was part of a troop, and they I mean, I was a pilot, right? You see a lot of stuff from up there, and you barely can help. I hope I don't want to be in that situation anymore. I'm not good at watching people being torn apart while I'm up in the air.
Can I kind of operationalize that greatest fear then?
Yeah.
Not being able to save people who are in harm's way.
Yeah, being helpless, basically.
Fine. Put something down there to that ilk.
I think you can just say being helpless, generalize that.
Okay.
And I say, well, good thing we've got you at the wheel then.
Yeah.
And finally, Lana, do you want to come back at the professor in
Sure.
terms of finding out some more about the professor?
Sure. So you're a classics professor, correct? But you were quite dashing there. I imagine you didn't learn those skills in the classroom.
No, I actually live closer to where we're going now. I mean, I was born closer to where we're going now in the Philippines. But it's only by fortune that I made it to the States. I grew up in a small village, and everything, you have to use your hands, you have to use your strength. So you're right. I did not learn from the classroom, everything I know from the classroom.
Add one spark, Lana. Where do you want to go in terms of probing or getting a little bit more personal? If you want to.
She was saying, yeah, I can imagine that would make you quite strong and able, but you handled yourself like you've been under fire before. I don't know much about the history of the Philippines, but have you
Yes, I had to endure something very, very difficult. Um, I have 7 brothers. She stops. But at that.
Okay, I go with
Nice.
that. Add another point of spark, Lana. And can you get a third point of spark if you want to try to get Prof to reveal his greatest fear? Now, Prof has kind of put something on the table, but I've not yet thought about how to make that work. So how do you get to that bit of the conversation, Lana, if you want to?
You mentioned that you like Orpheus, that you don't want to leave somebody behind. Have you lost somebody else in your past, or are you looking to avoid repeating a mistake?
I think we look at the myths, at least some of them, so that we don't repeat their mistakes, right? I mean, and he failed because he doubted her, and I've never when I met Mel, I couldn't have imagined where it would go. So I've never had that before, and I don't want to lose it. Here, and she reaches into her pocket, she pulls out a yo-yo, and she does, the thing where it just like hovers, the thing spinning, and she says, put your hand out.
Yeah, Lana will do that.
And then she has it hover above your hand, and she says, now touch the yo-yo. And when you, I assume you try to touch it,
Yeah.
she just yanks, she has a very, very little flicker, and it just, rises up out of your reach. And she says, sometimes it's all it takes is just that one flicker. And what you want is out of your hands. And I'm afraid that's gonna happen. And then she, makes it go all the way up to her hand, and she puts it away.
Well, we'll do what we can to help you get Mel back, and I hope it works out for you too.
Thank you. I don't know how I'll repay you.
Oh, you don't need to.
Screen wipe to map as we leave the Pacific coast of the States. From San Francisco, the dotted line crosses the Pacific. It stops at a number of islands on the way, the name of which I can't remember, and so is clearly too small to be read on screen, until we begin to come down into a map of Southeast Asia and a jungled mountainous range. And we begin to approach that area. Yeah? Craig, what do you do when you notice 2 aircraft approaching?
Okay, so this is clearly not Star Trek, so I can't hail them, I guess. But there is a radio in there, right?
There is a radio, of course.
Okay.
The Morgan
Yes.
Milemaster has every modern
Of course.
convenience.
Nice. Okay, so I will maybe turn on the radio just to see if somebody wants to talk to me. Otherwise, I will tell the passengers, I mean, Hildy's still here, right? So I'll tell her, like, look, there's more planes. Let's see if maybe they're friendly. What kind of planes are these?
That's a very good question. They are monoplanes.
Okay.
Of a design you are not familiar with.
Oh, look, these are interesting looking.
But we, the audience, instantly recognize them as Messerschmitt 109s.
Oh, no, yeah.
And you see them divide and go up into the clouds.
Uh-huh. I'll go up into the clouds as well. Just, I mean, I don't want to have someone have the high ground over me.
Okay.
Because my teacher always said you need to get the high ground.
Is it time to clip across that kind of mask with a microphone in it and talk to the passengers, or
No, I think Hildy's there. She is
Oh.
not a co-pilot. She can maybe talk. I'll hey, Hildy, I think you maybe could you maybe tell Miss Morgan that we're maybe experiencing some unfriendlies here. I don't know.
I nod and I hop up out of the seat and I head in back and I say, you better grab something that's screwed down because it looks like there's going to be a little aerial circus thing happening here.
Craig, is your objective to lose these Messerschmitts?
I don't even know what they are. I just don't want them to have any kind of advantage. I want to figure out what they actually want from me. Are they unfriendly or are they just kind of people who are in the same facility and are afraid of this awesome plane I have?
And that's when, in a German accent, over the radio comes, unknown plane, you are in prohibited airspace. Please turn around.
I will call Miss Morgan and I will inform Miss Morgan that we have this and that maybe she wants to talk to these people, because this is not my plane and she's my boss anyway. So.
Lana, you have a Nazi pilot who might even be called Manfred. This is Manfred Muller of the. Now what will he say? I think he will say, I'm here on behalf of the German government. I must insist you turn around. We have permission from the local government to conduct some experiments and maneuvers here. To proceed will put you in great danger. What's your response, Lana?
That's unfortunate, Gunther, or whatever.
Manfred. Yeah, sorry, my fault.
That's unfortunate, Manfred. We were hoping to do some sightseeing at the volcano here that we hear has quite beautiful lava flows, and my father would be very disappointed if this didn't happen.
Who else is aboard, Miss Morgan?
There's myself, my employees, and a couple friends.
I must ask you who is aboard. Please give me their names.
Why do you need that?
Please, Miss Morgan, give me their names.
She'll look at the
I
other
tell you,
people.
mechanically, if you give them the names, then I'll let you take action to convince him to not interfere or do something interesting.
All right, yeah.
Rather than simply open fire.
She'll give the names then.
There's a pause in which there's just static, and Craig, you know that he just changed channels, perhaps to talk to the other aircraft, who knows? And then he comes back on, he says, Miss Morgan, and this is where we'll determine how well this goes, Lana. So let me think. So you are definitely, what do you want? You want to proceed to your destination. That's what you want out of this, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Are you at all lying to him or trying to con him?
I mean, we're not there for a sightseeing trip.
Okay, so Hustler is in play. Take action for another 2. Jaw gives you another 3. You've pulled the Socialite. I am Lana Morgan. This is my father's plane. That gives you Socialite. So this is 8 dice. Difficulty in these circumstances, I think, is 3. Because, you know, the Morgan Milemaster isn't armed. I mean, for goodness sake, most of it is glass or perspex, that wonder material. So 8 dice, I'm looking for 3 successes, Lana.
Yeah.
Will you look at this?
4.
4 successes and an oof. Why is there an oof involved here, Lana? Is this sudden realization that the socialite might be getting close to something a little dangerous, or what?
Yeah, something.
I got a suggestion.
Well,
if you
just
want to
let
hear.
me stick with Lana for a
cool. Yeah,
moment.
go ahead. Yeah.
If it is that you're feeling nervous, how do we, the audience, know as you try to convince him to let you proceed? How do we know that Lana's cool is maybe not as cool as it was?
I think you see her hand that's holding her champagne glass shake slightly, and yeah, she takes a bigger gulp than usual.
Very well, Miss Morgan. So subtract 1 spark. Very well, Miss Morgan. Please follow me. And one of the Messerschmitts kind of drops in front of the plane, Craig, and you're conscious there's another one above and behind you. Lana, do you tell Craig to follow the plane or not?
I'll tell Craig that we've been told to follow the plane, and I'll ask how close we are to the destination that was on the map.
Well, I mean, circled on the map was the mountain range,
Right.
and you know, out to the front of the plane, where all 4 of you are now standing as if this was a Star Wars, looking out of the cockpit, and we see that mountain range ahead, and in the center we can see the kind of wisp of the volcano. Is Craig to follow? Because it looks like you're heading towards the volcano.
Yeah, I'll tell Craig to follow, but use his judgment if anything strange starts happening.
The strange thing that starts happening is the Messerschmitt continues to fly towards the volcano, and you notice, Craig, that there is a large slot cut into the side of the volcano with what looks like the lip of a landing strip heading into the mountain. And the Messerschmitt is landing. Do you land behind the Messerschmitt? Or do you have...
I will look at Miss Morgan. Do we land there?
And that's where we'll take a break.
Yeah, thank you. Good
5 minutes?
idea. Yeah.
Fine, see you in all. Okay, we're back from our final break. We have about 45, 50 minutes before we will close this episode. And I think we screen wipe from that landing sequence to the 2 Messerschmitts taxiing away in what appears to be a kind of military base built into the side of this semi-active volcano. In the distance, as Craig taxis down, and you know, there's a guy on the ground kind of waving you forward, Craig, and you know, then to one side, you can see a dull red glow in what appears to be at the end of this runway inside the mountain. And down there on the tarmac, inside the mountain, is Mayor Martin and his goons. We see Manfred getting out of the cockpit of one of the Messerschmitts. And it looks like Mayor Martin is being covered by the machine guns of some Nazi stormtroopers, commanded by a big woman in an SS uniform. And of course, the sides of the plane are see-through. So in the same way all of you can see this, Mayor Martin sees Lana, sees Hildy, waves, and gestures you down, Lana.
She'll come down the ramp that's been put up, and
Hey, princess. Hildy, what about you? Leaving the plane or not?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Hildy. I need a word.
Mr. Mayor, a little bit out of your jurisdiction here, aren't you?
Yes, Hildy. Not necessarily of my own free will. Prof, do you follow Lana and Hildy down to the tarmac?
Yes, and of course I'm looking for you know who as well.
Craig, what about you? Stay on the plane or leave the plane?
No, I'm going with my employer, of course, with my boss. With my
Of
boss.
course you
Boss
are.
is a good
Of
word.
course you are.
I'm going with my boss.
And so all four of you are on the tarmac
Mhm.
with Mayor Morgan, who says, Lana, these guys kidnapped me and brought me here. I think so I could, I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. But Prof, you the professor? And he kind of points at Professor Marimag. You the smart guy? Girl? Gal?
I don't know about that. I know things.
Well, look, all I know is that these guys talked about you and told me Lana was bringing you here. Look,
How do they know?
You better come with me. And he looks at the woman in the SS uniform who's built like, you know, big woman. And he, as if to say, may I? And she gestures with the submachine gun. And he walks towards the glow, which is a pool of lava. And out there, in the middle of the pool of lava, on a pinnacle of rock protruding from the lava, is Miss New Gauntlet City 1935, Melissa McGillicuddy.
I run a few steps forward.
With shackles. She's standing there with shackles attached to the rock. Look, Prof, what these guys are saying to me is that they need you to do something, or they're gonna kind of, you know, we're gonna need a new Miss Gauntlet City.
I think there's a moment where like, you know, where the professor like turns like aggressively towards towards Zelda, but then guns immediately make her
Focus.
stay where she is. What do they want? What do they want from me?
While we're thinking about that, Hildy, what are we seeing you do at this point?
I catch a glance at like I see all this going on and everything, and I say, I hate to break it to you, rats, but if this is a virgin and volcano thing, she's from New Gauntlet City.
Take a spark.
Okay. Sorry.
Lana, what's your reaction to this circumstance you find yourself in?
She's gonna, she's gonna ask the mayor, like, so how are you involved in this if they just needed the professor and Miss New Gauntlet City?
What can I tell you, Lana? I just woke up in a plane. Lana, what are you trying to, what's your objective here?
I think she's mostly going to try to use this conversation to look around and see, like, what's the lay of the land, like.
Fine. I think that I will count Hustler at play here, because you are having one conversation with him while trying to do something else. You take action for another 2. I think this is about Jaw. That's another 3. I think I am going to have Socialite play here, I think, because, you know, you are the heir to the Morgan millions and your father is a contributor to his campaigns. So I think there's 8 going on here with, I think you only need 3 successes to kind of just, no, I tell you what, I don't think it's Jaw, I think it's head, because you're right. Yeah, but it makes no difference to the die. 8 dice, 3 successes, tell me what you do.
All right. I will just
Tell me
roll
how you
the-
do.
I
Oh.
get
Uh,
4 successes.
Oh, easy peasy lemon squeezy. So what I'll give you is a greater layout. There is running across the ceiling of this cavern what appears to be a kind of cage come carry platform. So it looks like someone could get into the cage on this side, and then there's some kind of engine over there that will transport it across to the pinnacle. That must be how they got Melissa there. There are also a number of carvings in the walls of this cavern, and a number of guys in white coats, guys and gals in white coats who look sinister. Okay, so that's what you get out of this. Craig, what are you doing while Prof's having the conversation? Lana is looking round, and Hildy is cracking wise.
I mean, great Zeus, they have this woman on this pillar I can't stand, right? I mean, what? Okay, there are these guys with guns, and we're probably outnumbered, right? So I need a vehicle. So that's what I'm doing. I'm sidling over. I have learned the advantage of being subtle.
There has to be one of those cool 8-wheeler Second World War armored personnel carriers with some kind of machine gun on the top over there, doesn't there? Or maybe,
but I'd like a motorcycle, maybe.
Oh, a motorcycle.
I mean, a motorcycle is a lot more.
There's got to be a motorcycle
digital.
with a sidecar.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, but you probably couldn't land it on the pillar and just take her off. So, still, it's a good thing. I will go over, kind of mosey over to this.
Let's see how that moseying goes, shall we?
Not very well. I'm pretty sure it won't go very well.
So I think that this is rather Daredevilish.
Is it? Okay, then.
Oh yeah, because you're taking a chance here.
Definitely.
The place is packed with Nazis.
Oh well, they are all very.
While you're sidling towards a vehicle.
I mean, sure.
Is that not taking a risk?
Okay, maybe.
So that's 3.
Okay.
I think it's not really agility.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's working out the best way to do this. I think this is head.
Oh, damn it. Yeah, that's not my strength. Anyway.
So that's 4.
That's 4. But I am an ace driver.
You are, and so you are selecting the right vehicle, so that is 6 dice. But I think the difficulty here is 4. Do you want to proceed? You don't have to. When you kind of size this up.
Hell, I want to proceed. We have 40 minutes left. I want to proceed the hell out of this. And I will roll. How much spark do I have? 5.
Or we can always ask, does someone do something to help?
I was just about to say that. Because
now, Hildy, you're sitting on 12 spark there. Is there anything Hildy could do to perhaps distract attention from Craig?
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm in the mayor's face talking about, talking to him about what's going on and why, and I can do more of this, in fact, you guys have no idea what's going on here. If you wanted an effective politician, you kidnapped the wrong guy. I'm saying, stuff like this. He can't help you. He certainly can't get anything done for us in New Gauntlet City. I don't know what you guys expect him to do.
How much spark do you want to contribute, Hildy? How distracting is this?
I'll give 3 for this. I'm because I'm on a tear with this.
9 dice, looking for 4 successes.
That seems doable. I'll take that distraction. I will nod along when she says that, because that mayor, I've heard that before. And I pay a lot of taxes. I think. I'm pretty sure I pay. Oh wow, this is not a good roll, but it's 4. It's 4 successes.
It's 4, but 2 oofs.
The one's
and I think the oofs that's going to cost you 2 spark. And I think some of the guys in white coats, the military, are focused on Hildy, but the guys in white coats notice you, Craig.
Oh,
Yeah. Prof, let's come back round to you. Hildy, shut up, says the mayor. Look, Prof, they tell me that you can read this stuff. And you notice now that the carvings along the edge of this this lake of lava are it's impossible. It's impossible that there are carvings of the Greek gods here. It's simply impossible. You know, there is no reason why in the middle of Southeast Asia, in a volcano, there should be carvings of Greek gods. And yet there they are. And there are inscriptions underneath each of them. And you notice that they're illuminated, but there's also kind of electrical conduits running around and between them. And he says, look, all these guys need you to do is to figure out which order to say these inscriptions. They tell me that'll help them. I don't know.
Yeah, her first reaction is like, is this a joke? But she looks at them. I spin on Elda and say, if I figure this out, will you let her go? Will you let all of us go?
And the mayor says, yeah, that's what they told me. I look, this isn't the way I like to do business, but I want to get out of here as well.
Oh, wait.
Just do what they want, Prof.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the moment where maybe Professor Maramag looks at Miss Morgan, Lana, and she remembers that to talk about Orpheus hesitating and doubting and wondering if this is my moment.
If you don't do this, I will make whatever you do too more difficult. Because your greatest fear,
right,
is having your love,
right. So I mean, I don't
reading the inscriptions, looking out which order to say them in, doing the academic thing.
I mean, and I'll pitch that. I mean, I don't know this personally, but it's in the order that the gods were born in.
We'll come back to you as you work. We see you working your way across. Maybe scribbling some notes as you go from carving to carving. Meanwhile, Lana, what do you think you're going to do? Or are you just waiting for something to happen?
Where are we heading towards right now?
Well, you're there at the lip of this cave of this lake of lava, and the Prof is working away along these statues, brushing away any pieces of dust or anything that obscures the inscriptions, and trying to work out how to kind of which order to recite them. Covered by the stormtroopers, as the guys in white coats, you can see that there's kind of banks of equipment over there, and you can see that they're looking back and they're kind of moving dials, and there's levers and stuff. And there's Craig just loitering by a motorcycle and sidecar.
She's gonna try to talk to whoever's in charge of whichever goon seems in charge, to try to distract them, to create an opportunity for Craig or somebody to do something.
Okay, so you go up to Elder, you're trying to distract her. We'll see how that goes. I don't think you're in any danger, so it's just about, and you have fluent German. You didn't go to those schools for nothing. Hildy, what about you?
I think I'm gonna so we've got the professor is doing the translating. Oh, I'm gonna take out my little reporter notebook and I'm gonna start I'm just gonna kind of wander in the direction of where all the eggheads are doing the things with their dials and start to write down and start to like draw pictures of like what the dials they're looking at and what the numbers say so that I can share it with the professor later. And
of course, if you interfere with this, I will make things more difficult because your greatest fear is not seeing the story happen.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Craig, you were standing there wondering, you know, what do I do? How, you know, what should I do here? Prof seems to be cooperating. The girl's in danger. But Lana, you notice, is in the face of Elder, the Nazi weightlifter. So maybe there's an opportunity here to do something.
We need to get the girl away from the rock, right? And there's some contraption that would bring her back that is controlled by the eggheads. Am I reading the situation right?
You are.
Okay, then I will. I'm standing next to the eggheads.
Because that's, of course, that's where the motorbike and sidecar are.
Absolutely. So, you know what? We need to get this girl off, and we need to punch some Nazis. And I think the eggheads are a perfect target to punish.
Prof, let's see how successful you are in your kind of hypothesis. So I think that this is taking action for 2. I think this is head, another 2. I think academic pays. This is 6. 6 dice. I think this is probably 3 successes. It seems obvious. Do you want to spend any spark to get above 6 dice?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Athena, bright-eyed wisdom, shine your face upon me now. And I'm gonna immediately use that spark to add another die.
So your catchphrase is appropriate. You're going to get a spark back, but spend some spark first. How much spark? Currently you're on 6.
All right, I'm going, oh, I should be at, oops, wait, I should be at 8, I think.
Take action.
Yeah. Sorry.
Head.
Right.
Academic.
Right. So spark wise, I'm going to I'll spend I'll spend 2.
2. That's 8 dice. Fine.
1, 2, 3,
Now
4, 5,
8
6,
dice.
7, 8. Okay.
Looking for 3 successes. 1,
Right.
2 successes.
2 oofs.
And 2 oofs.
Yeah.
Energy begins to flow along the conduits. And Hildy over there in the egghead corner, you know, dials are lighting up and stuff is flickering back and forth. And it's almost like from these statues, electricity begins to run up the walls towards the pinnacle above where Melissa is. But it doesn't, it's not quite right. There's something wrong, Prof. So it costs you 2 spark. That's not the right answer. Craig, you notice the electricity flowing up the walls. Lana is still distracting the goons and anybody else who might interfere. If you have something in mind,
I do. I want to. I mean, the eggheads are probably busy with looking at their funny
dials and speaking in angry German to one another about it's not working.
Okay. I think I'll. The crane thingy that goes to the pillar. I will co-opt this now. I'll put it in the right position. I will run over to try and grab the girl.
Now, Hildy, while Craig is in the basket, someone's going to have to operate it.
Sure.
You know, to swing Craig out there in this cage, in this kind of platform.
Yep.
You're over there in Egghead Corner. Is that what you're going to do?
I mean, like if Craig gives me the high sign, whatever he, like that kind of thing, and I look and I see what's going on, then what I do is I think, I kind of lean in on one of the scientists and I'm like, this is fascinating. Don't you think somebody should be recording what's happening here for posterity? I know I can tell just looking at you that you've got an interesting story. What is it that brings you here, from your home county in Bavaria? But as I'm doing that, I'm like, with my elbow, I'm like nudging the joystick that moves the thing over there. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. I'm going to treat that as the opportunity to donate spark rather than action itself. Craig, I think this is Daredevilish. You're in a platform above a lake of lava. I think this is taking action. I think it is about agility and swiftness. So that is 6. How much spark, Hildy, do you want to make your distraction worth?
I'll
be honest with you, I think difficulty here is at least 4.
Yeah, I'm going to give 3.
Okay, mark down 3. That gets you to 9 dice. Craig, do you want to spend anything yourself, or are you happy with that?
I'm happy, but the way the youths keep coming, I'll think I'm saving my spark.
Well,
so.
let me just ask Lana. Lana, is your distraction worth any spark?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to get Hilda to talk maybe about where in Germany she's from, and talked about how I vacationed in the Black Forest one time. And
how much spark?
I'll donate 2.
2. That gets you to 11 without you spending anything, Craig.
Yeah, well, that's I like being part
and
of
I
the
think
team.
we are looking for 4 successes here,
Yes.
because somebody's going to notice. Sure.
Yeah, probably that is rather likely. But we need to get the girl. Yeah, there's just 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes and 2 oofs, which tears me down to 1 spark.
Oh.
But you know what? When I arrive there, I will do a not very wise thing and I will yell it first.
You certainly are.
Mhm.
And the 2 oofs, I think that's probably reflected in the fact that you are noticed when you get there.
Yeah, I'm yelling so.
And so you are noticed, and guns are trained on you, but of course she's out there as well. Prof, Hildy, Lana, you kind of expect them to just shoot just shoot Craig and Melissa, but Elder says 9. Prof, you get a second chance at the inscriptions.
Yeah, I think you know what the mistake was. There's 2 myths about Aphrodite's birth. There's one where she's the daughter of Zeus, but there's one where she just comes right out of the ocean from the foam.
Take action 2, head 2, academic 2, you're at 6. You're still looking for 3 successes, 6 dice. Do you want to spend any spark? I don't think anybody else is in a position to help with this, if I'm honest, so it's just you. You want to spend any spark?
Yeah, I'm gonna spend I'm gonna spend 1. I was gonna spend 1.
7 dice looking for 3 successes. Surely this must work.
Surely the odds are in my favor.
Because that energy is kind of just
2 successes, 1 oof.
ooh. Elder comes over to you and holds a gun to your head. And of course, you're an academic, you speak German as well. And in some subtitles we see, get it right, or I shoot the girl.
Does this mean I get a 3rd chance?
It looks like you're going to get a 3rd chance, but you're so running out of spark on this one. Lana, Hildy, Craig's out there. For some reason, they're not opening fire. And the mayor is shouting at Craig, for God's sake, you idiot, get away from there. Hildy, what do you do?
Like I think this is the point where you know, I kind of look around, I sigh, and I say, I'm really sorry.
Before you tell me what you
Yeah.
do, as you look around, I think the thing that's running through your head is, why aren't they just shooting at Craig? You know, if the hostage situation is breaking down, why are they not just spraying Craig with automatic fire? Just an observation.
Sure. And I mean, I'm like, as a player, I think I know what's going on. I don't know that Hildy would necessarily like holler out what's happening or something like that. Yeah, sure. You know what? It's a movie.
It's a movie.
Yeah. So I say they're not gonna hurt her because they're not gonna hurt her because she's the one that's gonna, like, they're not gonna hurt her because she's the subject of the experiment. I holler. And then I turn and I look at the Nazi scientist and I say, I'm really sorry. I know this was your big moment and everything. But let me see. And I just like reach across him and just start throwing dials and flipping switches and just, you know, like what does this big thing do? Chung, you know, like that.
I'm going to give you friend because you're trying to save the day. 2 for taking action. I'm not sure Ace Reporter plays here, and I think this is about how you are using the tools based on your observation.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm seeing 4 dice, and I think the difficulty here is 4, because you're randomly hoping something horrible is going to happen or good.
Yeah. So I'll spend 3 of my spark.
Fine. So that gets you to
Leaving
7
3.
dice.
I get 7 dice to try and
Looking
get
for
4 hits. Let's see what happens. Bingo.
Whew, look at that. I think there is no oof in sight.
6 hits. Yeah.
There is no oof in sight. And so I think that you see power dials going
9. Yeah.
Lana, it's clear that things are going pear-shaped. Stormtroopers, you know, you see them priming the machine guns and beginning to move towards you. And Mayor Morgan grabs you by the lapels as if to throw you into the lava pit. What do? You stupid interfering.
I'm gonna, if
And he says it in a slightly German accent. Go.
If I still have a glass of champagne, I'm gonna
Dump cough.
throw it in his face, say, here, could you hold this for me, and try to throw him into the lava.
Oh, that's brilliant. This is definitely the hustler taking action with hands. That's 4. I don't think Socialite plays here, if I'm honest.
She's throwing champagne in the face of an asshole. How is that not a Socialite activity?
I'm sorry, you've done this before in similar circumstances. There was that frat party, that's 6, and the swimming pool, that was 6. 6 dice. I think he's a big bloke and he's got some goons. I think the difficulty here is 4.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna spend. I'll spend 3 spark.
Yeah, we get 18 minutes left. So
yeah, exactly. spend it, or take it away. You know, so 9 dice,
9
looking
dice.
for 4 successes.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yes.
And a couple of oofs. So that costs you, and I think that is going to leave you hanging over the edge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, a high heel on a ledge and hands at the top, while Mayor Mark Miller goes 9. Prof, what are you going to do? All hell is breaking loose. Melissa's still out there, but Craig's with her.
Right. Okay. Things are breaking down. I don't think I can save this. And I know Craig's with her to get her out of there. So I'm just gonna say I speak 4 dead languages, but none of them are as dead as you're gonna be. And and like I'm like built like, you know, it's super tough. We saw that earlier. But I love the idea that she uses a children's toy. So the yo-yo comes out and just like extends my reach. And so I'm gonna snap it right into Elda's nose. And let's see what happens there.
Let's see how that goes.
Right.
So Bruiser taking action with hands.
6.
And do you know, I think that quip is worth a spark come what may. So I'm going to
Awesome.
give you an extra dice, assuming you're going to spend it. So
Yes.
7 dice.
I'll take it.
She's a big woman. I think difficulty here is 3.
All right, 7. I'll spend 1 more spark to make it 8.
8 looking for 3.
All right.
The dice have not been kind to the prof yet.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ready, set, go. All right.
It comes good. Comes good.
2
Costs you a
oofs.
couple of oofs. Because
I'm out. Yeah, I'm all at 0.
Elder does not go quietly. But how do we see this work as she gets a couple of good blows in, but ends up going into the lava pit? Describe what goes on.
Oh, I get that first snap, and she just you know, grabs me. I'm like she has a foot, at least a foot over me, and we tussle. She gets me in a headlock, you know, from behind, and she's choking me. And then the yo-yo comes out, but I grab it so like it does like a reverse, smacking her right in the head. And I kick her. Yeah.
9.
Yeah.
Okay, Elder's in the lava. The mayor's in the lava. Lana's hanging on the edge of the pit. Craig, what do you do?
So did I understand that? I don't know what is Mel doing, because I'm here to rescue her. I don't think I understood that she may be a part of the bad guys.
Yeah, because
So-
what turns out is that she's not secured to those rocks at all.
Oh, I will say, wow.
She pulls them out and attacks you with the chains around her wrist.
Oh my gosh. Can I
You're
punch?
Stupid American pig.
Oh, now I can punch her. I mean, I wonder, how did she get to be Miss New Gauntlet City?
Do you know how long I have spent in America pretending to be some kind of dumb blonde?
No? Do you want to
I
tell
have
me your
3
life
degrees
story
and
now?
I was going to be Athena. Let's have you punch a Nazi.
Yes, I will. I look at her and I say, look, lady, I don't understand what you're saying. You don't seem to speak English too well. When you
Oh, gee, wallop. Let's have you punch a Nazi.
Yes, I will punch a Nazi. Punching Nazis is fun.
You are fighting
Uh-huh.
on a rock pinnacle,
Yep.
maybe 1.5 meters across,
Yep.
above a lava pit. Daredevil,
Yep.
taking
Yep.
action
Yep.
with hands.
Okay, 6.
6.
I-
She's a girl, but she is armed with some chains. Difficulty is 3.
Okay, 6 against 3.
What is your objective here? Incapacitate or
Oh.
add to the Nazi lava pool?
I think I might just add her to the Nazi lava pool.
Let's see how that goes.
Seems appropriate right now.
6 dice.
I'm very sorry, Prof, but she's bad. I think for the Prof, right? Because yeah, this will break her heart, but she's a Nazi and she would have broken her heart even worse. So for the Prof.
6
And I will
dice.
say that.
3
For the
difficulty.
Prof.
Do you want to spend any?
I don't
Spark.
have any. I do not have
You have
much.
2 spark.
I have 2 spark.
30
Okay, I'll
minutes to
spend.
play.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? I'll spend a spark.
Spark, 7 dice.
7
Difficulty
dice.
3.
I'm rolling the first 7 on the key on the thingy here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there is the one that takes me down.
And I think that oof, if I may suggest, is you push her, punch her, and you want to grab her because you're a hero, and yet, oh, 9, 9, 9, 9, and you catch the professor's eye, and that's where the oof comes from.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hildy, there's chaos. The machines are now overloading. They went to 0 and now they've gone up into the red. What are you going to do, Hildy?
Oh,
Lana's.
Oh, that's right. Lana's hanging out there. I run over and put a hand down to Lana, and say, "There's no way I'm explaining this to your dad," as I haul her up.
I'm just going to let you be hauled up. I don't want Lana in and I want to make that cracking wise continue to work. Manfred has run for the Messerschmitt, and we see him getting into the open cockpit and beginning to kind of try to bring the airplane's guns to bear on you, as Craig, is hand over hand back to solid ground. What is the final scene? Craig, give me something in the final scene.
I want to use that motorcycle.
Of course you do.
I mean,
what do we see you do with that motorcycle?
I mean, the Messerschmitt is on the ground, right?
It is.
So I have a motorcycle, and that plane is not. It's not too sturdy. It's not like a tank, so I can run the motorcycle into the plane. I mean, I just have to jump out.
And it's full of highly explosive aviation fuel.
Right. Yeah, I would have liked to fly that plane, but yeah.
There is a second Messerschmitt, remember?
Yes.
Prof, what do we see of you in this last scene as Craig tries to take down Manfred, the Messerschmitt pilot?
Oh, I think Prof says when she realizes what's happening, she just says, not Eurydice, she was the siren, and I'm going to go head towards one of the vehicles. I assume we're trying to make a getaway.
Yeah, and to be honest, you need to fly out of here, so you're probably heading to the Morgan Milemaster. Okay. Lana, Hildy, what do we see of you?
I am going to like we start making a beeline for the plane, and I say, "Wait, I'll meet you there." And I just make a little detour, and whatever book or binder or stack of papers or something I can grab to tuck under my arm to bring with us.
Oh, I think that when you pulled Lana up off that cliff, we noticed a bundle of papers under your arm.
I don't think so. I don't think I detoured to before rescuing Lana, but absolutely when we're running the plane, whoa, hang on a sec. Then I run over, and it's literally a thing where I'm running to the plane with papers clutched like this, and there a couple of them kind of flying out as I'm booking towards the plane.
Lana, what about you?
I think she's gonna, on her way to the plane, grab some trinket or something to remember the adventure by, some little meaningless Nazi symbol thing or something, and then we see her consoling the professor, patting him on the back and being like, "I'm sorry it didn't work out with her.
I'm not going to make you roll. I'm going
What's her name? Hildegard's SS pin there, or whatever it is. That's
I'm not going to make any of you roll for any of that. Craig, you leap from the motorcycle at the last minute as the guns are just coming to bear, and whoosh, up it goes. But the scientists are still, the volcano it's going to explode. It will erupt. The Milemaster swoops out of the volcano, to be followed, of course, by a vast explosion as lava erupts, not just out of the top of the volcano, but begins to form a waterfall behind the Milemaster as it takes to the air.
I
Oh,
think
the
New
front
Gauntlet.
page.
I think New Gauntlet City needs a new mayor.
And that is our game. I'd like a brief kind of roses and thorns, if I may, just to finish that off, to demonstrate our solid gauntlet practice. Let me go right to left. That's where I started. That's where I finished. Jim, any roses, any thorns?
Oh, I mean, just roses for everybody. This was super, super fun. Rod, I loved your character. You brought in someone that was, not like a typical, like stereotypical, like 1930s white movie actor character. And that was good to have, to have some diversity in our cast here was excellent. And I love the yo-yo thing. The yo-yo thing was wild. Like it was just like a weird, quirky little thing, like weird in a good way, quirky in a way that I really liked. Sabine, your enthusiasm for punching Nazis was wonderful. To like and like right from the start, you basically got to punch the first Nazi and punch the last Nazi, which
was
is
the same Nazi actually,
which is fantastic. That's right. Oh my God. Yes. Yeah. You bookended.
It was
the
Manfred
Nazi
all
punching.
the time.
That was fantastic. And Lana, you're just kind of just sort of cool all the way through was really fun. It was fun to have a character that was just like completely unflappable in, as all the chaos was happening around there. So Mary, that was wonderful to kind of to have you to bounce off of, because like I was like the kind of hyperbolic, hyperactive, like I said, screwball character, and you were the refined, you and I were in different movies, but somehow in the same movie, which was a lot of fun. So
Great.
Oh, whatever, wishes, thorns. I don't want to call it thorns, but yeah, I feel like sixes should do something special too. Because the ones hose you, but it feels like the sixes should do something. Fun if we're going to do that.
And ever since since we first played hit the street, defend the block, I've been kind of struggling with what could that six be. Mari, any roses, any thorns?
I loved all the characters, whether it's the eager reporter who's just talking nonstop and always on the job, and I like the professor and the working in all the Greek mythology and punching stuff, and I liked Craig's like enthusiasm for planes and vehicles and just that. It was great.
Good. Sabine, any roses, any thorns?
Lots of roses. This was a fun game, and I loved the characters. I loved the prof, like the Bruiser academic that occasionally I think got a bit in the way of the mechanics, because using both in the same role is kind of hard. But it still worked. It's still a fun character, fun game. I love Lana, always with that glass of champagne, right? That was awesome. And
even hanging off a cliff.
Exactly. Maybe she lost it there. I imagine
no,
like
I threw it at the
Oh, yeah,
you threw it at the mayor. Yes,
of course. The mayor. Yes. Well, at least you will have a new one on the plane. Yeah, and Hildy was so much fun to play with and to play off of. And I think the one time when you misspoke and called New Gauntlet City, New York, that showed a part of Hildy that I actually loved. And yeah, and I think the one tiniest thorn is we never used the parachutes, but that's for the next episode, right? For the way back where we find out that of the 3 parachutes only one works. But yeah, otherwise it was awesome. We had great follow through with all the clues we laid out, so that was nice. Felt very round.
Rod, any roses, any thorns?
Yes, roses and stars to everyone. I love that Sabine, how Craig was the action hero in the beginning, and the whole thing with the plane was a lot of fun. And you flying in the city on 4th Avenue or whatever it was, that was really cool. I love the Lana, the socialite, being in these crazy situations, almost more out of out of uh, out of a fish out of water than the prof was. But that was a lot of fun. And Jim, I love the I love the speech and that quirky reporter and all those little quips that were thrown in. Yeah, thank you, Alan, for running this and bringing all these crazy elements together. My wish probably is the same. Probably when I first played this was, I wish it was longer. I wish we had more time. A 2-shot, at least a 2-shot.
Yeah, one day I will get as far as the 3rd episode.
Right.
So yeah, roses from me. Jim, great cracking wise, you know, from opening to end, spot on, brilliant. Sabine, you know, the wild-eyed, slightly unhinged, I have to say. Who wanders out on a girder to jump on a biplane, you know? And I have to say, I hadn't even thought about the symmetry of punching the first Nazi and punching the first Nazi again. And Mari, you know, Lana, cool. She never had the catchphrase, "Do you know who I am?" But she kind of embodied it. So, you know, that was delightful. And yeah, it was really interesting to see the Bruiser academic. You know, Rod, I think, and again, you know, I want to endorse the thing about, you know, bringing a bit of diversity to the table. So thanks for that. And I guess in a 2-shot, we might have had a bit more intervening in terms of spending some time in that part of the world before getting to our climactic volcano. Who knows? But no, it was great fun. I never don't have a good time running this game. So thank you all. With that, I'm going to stop the recording, wave bye-bye to the internet,